A tantalizing Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, sports1440.ca. And we have lots and lots to discuss. A great weekend in sports. If you like playoffs, if you like edge of your seat excitement, if you like the roller coaster of emotion, you're like, oh my God, I feel like I worked out. So funny talking to fans like, oh, my heart, I can't handle it. But then you're back. You're back again. You're watching. How many of you, it's over. Don't lie. Don't lie. Be honest. How many of you said, good night, Irene? You get down to the final minute. Because I got some stats because, I like to look up stuff. Research all my stuff, usually by myself. And in the history of the National Hockey League, there's been over close to 5,000 NHL playoff games, just under, in the history of the league. And the Edmonton Oilers, if you feel like, God, playoffs can be stressful. Well, in the Oilers' last 41 playoff games, going back to the start of 23, right, where they played 12, then they played 25, and now they got 4 this year. It's 41 games. 5 of those games have seen either a tying goal in the final 30 seconds or a game winner in the final minute. 5 of them. Do you know how many there are in NHL history? How about 125? 125 out of 5,000, and you've had 5 in the last 41 games. So if you feel like you're a little bit more on edge during the games, that's why. Now, the Oilers say they don't win them all, right? The Danault in game 1, game-winning goal, final 40 seconds. You had Bouchard last night, tying goal. You had, in 2023, JT Miller scores a game winner with 39 seconds left. Evan Bouchard scored the game winner with 33 seconds left. And then in 2023, Anze Kopitar tied game 1 with 17 seconds remaining, and then the Kings won it in overtime. It's funny. The tying goals, late, Kopitar, Kings win. Late, Bouchard ties it, Oilers win. So that's nuts, though. 5 out of 41 when there's only been 121 in the other 4,900-plus games. That's a significant difference. So, those are some funny stats to discuss. The Oilers, they get 2 huge wins on Friday and Sunday night. Now it's a best of 3. They go back to L.A. The Kings, Quentin Byfield. Oh, hey, you know full well the Edmonton Oilers can gift goals. Like I think they might be the best team in the NHL at gifting goals on a consistent basis. But that was Quentin Byfield. He had a chance to just get the puck out of the zone, and he couldn't get it out. Now, Bouchard makes a nice play, keeps it in. Later on, another one-time shot from Bouchard, well-placed, and the Oilers, 29 seconds left. They tie the game, end up winning in overtime, and the building's going bananas. I'm sure you're at work today. You might be a little bit tired. It doesn't matter. You're fired up. But be honest. How many of you, 5 minutes left, 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left, 2 minutes left, 1 minute left, Oilers are down 3-1. You know you thought it. Don't lie. That's okay because it's normal. But that's why they play the full 60. Finish it off. What about, have you ever cheered for a goal and celebrated it 3 times? Because that's what happened on Friday night. Evander Kane scores. Everybody celebrates. Dun, 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 great. Village going crazy. Oh, now there's a review. Do, 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 do. Oh! The goal on the ice is incorrect. It's ruled a goal, and everybody goes crazy again. Now the LA Kings call a timeout. Now you're waiting. Oh, timeout. Okay, what's happening? Oh, now they're going to challenge it. What? They challenge it, not very long, because that's going to go down as one of the worst playoff challenges I've ever seen. I watched it. I'm like, what are they looking for here? Like, there's no one touching the goalie until the puck goes in the crease. And the only thing I could think of is they were going to argue that when Kane's stick hit the puck, that somehow he pushed the goalie in. Well, obviously, he didn't even move him. That is awful. Awful. Awful call. But good for the Oilers. So not only do they celebrate the same goal 3 times, then Evan Bouchard scores on a set play, by the way, 10 seconds later. Like, crazy, emotional roller coaster for Oilers fans. The building was going absolutely bananas on Friday night, again on Sunday. No surprise, Oilers fan brings it, but it was a good weekend. And now the Oilers are right back in the series. And then what about the other ones? We'll get into all the other ones. Oh, my God. Can anybody check on Alexander Carrier? Is he alive today? Oh, did he get rocked? Absolutely rocked. Clean hit, by the way. And that's when people are like, oh, yeah, man, I love hitting doesn't matter. Pardon? Really? Okay. So we'll talk about that. NBA playoffs have got some. What about the Lakers? They're one game out of getting kicked out of the playoffs. And now tonight we have 2 games, a little bit of a late night, which is probably good for you. Maybe like, I just need to relax. Got to get some sleep. Probably up late. You got the Lightning and the Panthers. They're game 4. And also the Avs and the Stars, which surprisingly has been kind of a boring series. Compared, if you watch that series, to the Oilers and the Kings, Montreal and Washington, heck, even the Jersey Carolina series lately has been more entertaining. The Stars have 7 goals. Right? It's like they got Brown and Strudwick and Louis DeBrusk all combined on their top line. No one can score. No offense to those guys, they weren't scorers. But that's what the Stars are. 7 goals in 4 games. You're not going to win very much. We got a loaded show for you today. Sean Brown's going to join us right off the hop here. We got Ryan Payton, Jamie Thomas, Owen Newkirk will join us from Dallas. Kevin Woodley and Speck, we're going to flip times. Usually Speck's at 5, Woodley's at 5:20, but Speck's playing. We want to make sure it's landing around 5, so we'll just switch them up so they'll be on time. And away we go. So we'll talk about it's funny, Vezina Trophy came out today. And if you looked at the playoff numbers, people would be like, these are the best goalies in the league? Connor Halley, whose numbers are off the charts terrible. For a guy like, if he wasn't a Vezina Trophy, you're like, he's an average goalie. You'd be like, he's had a few tough games. No, not good. Darcy Kemper. Look at Darcy Kemper's numbers. He's got a 374. He had a 2.29 in the regular season, a 922. He's sub 900. He's sub 880 on save percentage right now. Vasilevsky. Tough first game. Has been pretty good since. So we'll discuss all of that. Jamie Thomas will be by. We'll take your thoughts. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Text us in our eWell inbox. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor100. That's Gregor100 to get your free play at PlayAlberta.ca as we welcome in Sean Brown to the show, fresh off of playing at the Alzheimer's Pro-Am this weekend. Brownie, you're upright, so your back's not out or anything like that. No, there's no old man injuries for you today.
No, it was what a great tournament. They did another fantastic job putting that together. It's so well organized. Obviously, it's a great cause. They raise a lot of money. Listening to the stories and just, how generous Edmontonians are and they're willing to get involved behind charities, was really nice. I know that you were emceeing the event there.
Yeah.
In the afternoon.
Were you nervous?
I think everybody was, man. You were going at guys hard. I was like, whoa, where's all this anger coming from?
That wasn't, buddy. I ran into quite a few guys who were laughing. They thought it was awesome.
Oh, yeah, no, you did a great job.
I had Matt Cook say, I've never met Matt Cook in my life. So I kind of, guys, if I know a guy, I'm a little bit more like, I know Matthew Barnaby quite well. I'm like, obviously I can chirp him. Struds, of course. Bucky. I did have to say, of all the lines, I thought my Bucky one was my best.
Yeah.
I like that one quite a bit. But guys, I don't, because I thought about Cooker. I'm like, geez, I got a lot of ideas here, but I was like, how do I play it in?
Yeah.
So I actually had a few more that I was like, maybe this is going too long. So I took them out. But
no, you did. You know what? You did a great job. It's always nice, and you know what? You know how it is too. Hockey guys are good guys, and they like to chirp as much as anyone else.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I love those events, right? It's nice to get in the community. It's nice to get. to see some guys that you haven't seen in a long time. And you talk about Cookie. I mean, I was at the game last night. He was there. Everybody was having a great time. And, I think I'm one of those guys too that's kind of licking my wounds a little bit dry this morning here. So that was electric. What a game! Like, what an emotional roller coaster.
Oh, geez, both the whole games Friday, because I know the draft was Friday night, but you probably were watching the game somewhere. But when you're in the building, the emotion's even different. But people at home, we got a lot of texts coming in at 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey boys, my group chat was calling for Bowman's head on a stake, but instantly switched to elation. Why Bowman? Why would Bowman's head be on the stake? Like, Bowman's...
Yeah, I came in late to this.
Is Jake Wallman helping you right now? Is John Klingberg, which cost you nothing? Now, John Klingberg is the perfect player to play against LA because they're not a hard forechecking team. If it was a hard forechecking team, maybe not so much. But you know what? Think about it. If you hadn't signed him, didn't cost you anything. You got Wallman. Without Ekholm, where'd the Oilers be? So, Trent Frederic's coming along, started to play better. Obviously, Evander Kane. The Oilers have more depth. I think we're seeing that. And Brown, I want to get as a defenseman, and because there's times, these guys are used to playing all the minutes. I'm like, but if you're not used to playing 30 minutes a night or playing 25 minutes a night, right? Because going from 20 minutes to 25 might not seem like a lot, but it's a pretty big jump.
Oh yeah, it's a lot. And especially, as you're watching the game and you're looking, a lot of it is, when you're going back on pucks, right? And you're going back on pucks under pressure and, you're constantly getting hit. And when you're doing what LA's doing right now and they're limiting the ice time of the fifth and sixth defenseman, it's tough. It makes it for a long game. And I'm sure that's got to be part of the game plan for the Oilers is, get it on a forecheck, get your hits in, because game 1, game 2, game 3, and throughout the series, it's like making a deposit at the bank. And, in a game in the third period, and you could just see those guys just wearing down, like it's hard. It's hard always just retrieving pucks, going back. It's always hard, making those plays under pressure. And you could, for as good as Doughty and those guys are, it's just a matter of time before they eventually break down. And, you could see some mistakes and you can see the penalties at the end of the game there. I'm sure that had, something to do with, them just mentally kind of breaking down towards the end. It's a lot of minutes. It's heavy. Everyone's playing a little, every play, that's what's nice about watching this game. Like every retrieval, every play, the details, the execution is magnified. And, to have that mindset and to play with that type of, intensity and detail, it takes a lot out of you.
Well, you look at the Oilers and they did a lot of place and chase, right? Dump pucks into certain corners into a spot. The LA go back to get it every time because you got to go back really hard, and it adds up. And they're going basically 4 defensemen from late in the third period all the way through overtime. And even when LA got the puck out of the zone, like they get into overtime, they didn't have one high danger chance. They didn't have you had 7 shots. I want to say 4 of them from the blue line. Right, like just as we're dumping it in, just easy shots, and Pickard's like, okay, here we go, no problem. And Edmonton, sometimes you worry in overtime that you have all the momentum, and eventually the other team gets it back and scores on their first chance. Well, not only do the Oilers have the puck, they didn't turn the puck over in overtime or in the third period, and so now they're in. Like I look at Edmonton, I got the numbers from Mike Kelly, the offensive zone possession time, because the Oilers, I'm like. Everyone's like, because the Oilers will have zone time, and then they end up like 3 times last night. McDavid was in a great shooting spot in the slot, didn't shoot. Draisaitl, the Maurice Richard Trophy winner. Like when he dumped it off once to John Klingberg, I'm like, what? What are we doing? So, the Oilers, I thought still there's room for them to improve on shooting the puck, but they've had like 33% more offensive zone possession time than LA in the series so far. And you're a defender, Brownie. When you've got to defend for a longer period of time, it's a lot harder on you and more taxing than was you're in the offensive zone as a defenseman. It's not even close.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Defense is hard work. Offense is fun. I mean, you just always seem to find more energy for offense, but you talk about zone time. It's not only just zone time, but it's zone time and where you make it real difficult on defensemen is when you're getting it to the net. And one thing that, has been talked about a lot is the play of Corey Perry. And when you're getting it to the net and you get guys going to the net, which the Oilers are doing, that is taxing. It's grinding as a defenseman, the multiple reads and the situations, that you're putting those guys in. It's, the importance of getting pucks to the net because nothing has to be exactly pretty, obviously when it gets into the playoffs, and you can see the opportunities that are created by just getting it to the net, whether it goes off a guy, Doughty's his stick, it goes off of a skate, creates a scrum. Guys are sticking around. That's the other thing too, is when you're getting pucks to the net and then guys are sticking around, you got to stay in the battle. You got to keep the body position. All that little bit of energy just adds difficult, and you're just wearing the same four guys down. And then ultimately, it doesn't matter who you are. I mean, as you get tired mentally, you start making a few mistakes, and the Oilers have done a good job at just kind of sticking with it. I mean, we seen two different sides of the Oilers, right? They came out, it was kind of like, holy gee, what do we got here? And then all of a sudden now they're winning pucks, they're winning battles, they're starting to get. I mean, those are the momentum swings, and it's amazing to see a team when they start to get some momentum and they start to play with confidence, how different they can actually look.
Yeah, for sure. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, boys, this seems to be one of the roughest playoffs I remember. If you don't keep your head up, you're getting rocked. Steve from Drumheller. Well, it was interesting, Steve. John Tortorella said it. Goes, a lot of today's players, they put themselves in bad position to get hit. Right? Like, you look at Alex Carrier, Brownie. Like, there's certain guys, when Tom Wilson's on the ice, you should have like a signal that comes up from your bench. Everybody screams, Wilson. Seriously, though, because the guy is a heat-seeking missile who can hit hard and he can hit clean. That, you can't get more of a textbook clean body check. And guess what? Body checks can be vicious. They can be hard. They can be ruthless. They can also be clean. And that's what that was. And man, like that's a momentum changer. He's not Carrier's on Strange Street. He's trying to get off the ice, and the Capitals just come up the ice, and you only got one defenseman on the ice, right?
Yeah.
That's how Duhaime scores that goal.
Yeah. And you know what I like about Wilson is he's mean. Right. He is mean. He's out there. He's hitting to hurt you. He's old school. And like, that red line is a dangerous area. And I think Edmontonians have seen, guys like, remember Mike Greer, right? There's nothing worse as a defenseman when you're racing to get the red line, and the forward knows that that's all you're trying to do is get the red line and get it in. And how many times did Mike Greer come around and just crush a guy? I mean, we've all been in those situations as a defenseman. And yeah, I mean, there's certain guys that, have that identity, and you got to be aware that they're on the ice. And that's the blessing and the nice thing that we have with Evander Kane coming back, because that's a naturally aggressive hockey player. You're not asking Evander Kane to do something that he hasn't done throughout his career, right? And when you get those guys that they're comfortable and that's their identity and they're okay with it, it makes a big difference than when you're getting something and you're asking them to play, hey, I need you to play this way to be effective and help our team. Yeah. There's a difference of being like getting the guy that comes more natural.
Yeah, for sure. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown with you. Hey, Gregor, I must have missed whatever Emberson did to get short minutes. Was there something in particular from Bill? No, Bill, nothing actually. So Emberson's a defensive defenseman. He's not going to bring you a lot of offense. In the third period, the Oilers are down 3-1. So they used their 5 defensemen who they felt give them the best chance offensively. And then by the time you got to overtime, he'd been sitting out for so long. It's 20 minutes of third period, but then you throw in the flood before the third, the flood after the third. Guy's been sitting out for over an hour. You're not going to put him in that spot.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it is what it is. Some guys just, you get lost in the shuffle a little bit. I mean, it's funny. I was playing in that Alzheimer's tournament, and MacD was there, and he was behind the bench, and I swear he was dying to bench me. And I talked to him after. I said to him, hey, I felt like you were going to bench me. And he's like, Brownie, I wanted to so bad. It's just sometimes you are what you are, right? Yeah. And you get you kind of get lost in the shuffle. The game gets going. You miss a couple shifts. The D coach has a feel. But all feelings aside and all emotions aside, this is the playoffs, right? I mean, for everyone, it's important that whether you get 4 minutes, 3 minutes, or whenever you get that shift. That's one of the hardest parts about, being a pro hockey player is just staying in that moment mentally, right? And just waiting for your opportunity, whether it comes or it doesn't come, but being sharp and prepared for it.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense because it's a big deal. Hey, guys, you think it's more poor coaching or poor roster construction for LA? They can't trust the bottom guys play even 5 minutes. From Jim. It's a fair question, Jim. Well, do I blame the coach? Well, you look at the guys he has; they don't have a boatload of experience there. So that might be it. I'll say this: I'm more perplexed by the minutes of their defensemen. Jordan Spence averaged 16, 17 minutes a night in the regular season. Now he can't even play. He doesn't even dress in the playoffs. So that to me that's more coaching decision, because they had 6 defensemen all year long that they use. Now, Brant Clark has been kind of who he is. He's a younger defenseman. He's not very strong. Him playing 11 to 12 minutes, it's kind of like Emberson. That's what he's going to play. That's okay. But it's taking out Spence and just eliminating his minutes. Like, obviously they haven't liked how he's played, but it is a little surprising.
I'm really intrigued to see how this actually plays out, right? I mean, it is tough. It's tough. If I didn't watch LA enough throughout the season to know how, the minutes and all that worked out, but to go from, you said 14, 15 minutes to where they're at now, like, where mentally, psychologically where are they? Right. And now you're, now the series is 2-2, that it's tough. It's tough to be in that situation as a player where it's like, hey, you know what? You can play during the regular season, but for whatever reason, you can't play now. Like, can you go back to them? How does this play out? I mean, I thought that was one of the best things that the Oilers did last year. I don't know if they did it this year, but when they brought that sports psychologist in, right? I don't know if he's here this year, but I mean, the importance of, the mental game is real, right? Yeah. So how are these guys, like, if you go to them, are they ready to go? Where are they at? Where's their headspace?
Yeah, Jordan Spence played 79 games. He was plus 23, averaged 16.47 a night. Now, Drew Doughty missed 50 games, so that's going to impact some of the minutes, no question. And you look at Doughty when he played 24. Gavrikov was 23. Anderson was 22.41. And Edmondson was 20.35. Brant Clark played 16-17 in the right, but he played more when Doughty was out. So I get why he's back down, right? Doughty comes in. Those guys play a little bit less. But a little bit less is different than going from 16 minutes to, like, no minutes, right? Yeah. Like, it's really interesting. And we'll see. Like, Anderson and Doughty are both over 27 minutes so far in the playoffs. Joel Edmondson is 8 minutes shy of 25 minutes a game. Gavrikov, who's arguably maybe their best guy, he's at 22.33. Then Brant Clark is playing 11.49. Jordan Spence has averaged 6 minutes in the 3 games he's dressed. He didn't even dress last night. And then Muvrer, he's played 2 games and averaged a total of 5 minutes combined. So 2.5 minutes each game. Like, it's a massive drop off, and we'll see how that plays out. So we'll get more into that. Ryan Paxton will join us. Jamie Thomas. We got lots more of your texts. The Oilers, of course, on their way to LA right now. They're in the air. Calvin Pickard's a no-brainer, but Calvin Pickard, well, the coach didn't want to announce it today. I think we all know Calvin Pickard will be starting tomorrow. Quick break. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
At Fountain Tire, we're all about one thing: taking care of your vehicle. Oh, and your wallet. I guess that's 2 things. Save up to 20% off select tires until June 14th. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
You know how you look forward to all your favorite sports coming back in the spring? Soccer, baseball, golf. Well, GS Construction looks forward to getting back to work with the warmer weather. We're all excited and geared up for this very busy time of year. The groundbreaking season is upon us, and GS Construction is ready to roll with all sorts of new projects. Projects that help the community and make the place we live in better. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot. And Molson Canadians for $5.25. OTR's TVs, hey, they're so clear you'll see the puck better than the ref. That ain't hard, is it? And every game night during Edmonton's playoff run, specials start 30 minutes before puck drop and last for the whole game. Be a part of the legend. See the menu at ontherocks.yeg.com.
DJ Booster coming at you live with warmer weather, longer days, and dropping 2 new booster mixers for April from Booster Juice. Pucker up, party people! The Sexy Berry Booster Mixer features raspberry and lemon in perfect harmony. Then turn it all the way up with Mango Mango Booster Mixer with delicious mango and pineapple notes.
Mix it up with the new Booster Mixers at Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999. Download the Booster Rewards app and order one today.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
Mr. Rooter hits the link.
So I tell the guy, it's leaking because you have a hole-in-one.
Hey, Mr. Rooter, you have a better chance of hitting the green with a crescent wrench, you bum.
Oh, boy. It's my rival, Mr. Plunger.
You swing a club like you plumb. Lousy.
Lousy, eh? Hey, Mr. Plunger, there's a clog down there that even you could fix.
For a plumber you can trust, call Mr. Rooter.
I won't shave till we bring home the cup.
And I like to do a shot for every playoff goal. My jersey's not coming off until we're the city of champs again.
Want a playoff superstition that always wins? Pick up a bag of Wilhauk beef jerky for every game. Because when it comes to the playoffs, where there's a Wilhauk, there's a way.
Make every playoff game a Wilhockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't bring home the cup with salad.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.227. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley, Sean Brown with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As there's lots to discuss, man. These playoffs, they get more entertaining by the day. I'm telling you, as you get later, it gets more exciting, which is awesome. That's and to me, that's what you want. So I like it. Let's go around the NHL now, brought to you by McDonald's. And next Thursday is McHappy Day, with every menu item purchased at McDonald's to help support families with sick children. So you can feel good, but that good comes from doing good. So join them in McDonald's next Thursday for McHappy Day. That is May 8th, for anybody wondering. As we talk NHL playoffs, Ryan Payton joins us from Sirius XM. And Ryan, it was a crazy weekend. There's so many different storylines from different series. I want to start with the series that's starting tonight, Florida and Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay without Hagel goes into Florida, and everyone's like, oh my God, they're going to get worked. There's no Hagel. Now Ekblad's coming back, and it's complete role reversal. Tampa Bay dominates that game, and now put themselves right back in the series, similar to Edmonton, down 2-1, but now they got another night to get a big win. What impressed you most about that Lightning victory on the weekend?
Before I get to that, can we just do one thing? Can we get the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs go all the way to the middle of June? Can we just play this whole first round thing?
Yeah.
I mean, I love the cup. I get it. But I heard what you guys were saying about how many storylines is going. It's just unbelievable what's happening. The first round of the NHL playoffs is the best first round in any of the sports. Anyway, I had to get that out there. It's been great. Good to be back on with you guys too. I was really impressed with that game by Tampa Bay. And the biggest reason why I was impressed with, and I shouldn't be impressed with it like this, is because of John Cooper. John Cooper, to me, this is why he gets paid the money. And this is why he's one of, and he'll go down in history, already is one of the best coaches in the game. You're down 0-2. You lose Brandon Hagel for that game. He gets suspended for the one game. And you lose both the first two games at home. I know there's not a big geographical distance between the two, but you lose both those games at home. So now you're down 0-2. You're going into Sunrise against the defending champions. They have all the momentum. You don't have Hagel. They have Barkov for game 3, even though he was hurt in game 2 on that hit. And everything is against you. But the fact is, John Cooper probably just said, look, we're down 0-2. It's okay. Everything's fine. I always say this about John Cooper, that if you have a young kid who can't sleep, call him up, get him to read them a story. They'll be out like that. He has this calming presence about him which I think is just, you can't put a price on that thing. So I was really impressed. I thought Tampa took it to them. They defended well. Vasilevsky was Andrei Vasilevsky, as we know that he can be, one of the best goalies to ever play the game. So I would not be surprised, guys, if they tied this thing up at 2. I really wouldn't, because I think the momentum, even in the first couple of games, I know they swayed in Florida's favor because they were up 2-0, but I really do think going into this series, I had Tampa winning it, and I think they are the better team.
Ryan, I would like, what are your thoughts on, I mean, now you see Mike Sullivan getting fired. Joel Quenneville's name's kind of been brought up for Anaheim. What are your thoughts of Mike getting fired? Where's Pittsburgh at, and where do you think he'll land?
Yeah, that's a tough one for me. I put, since Crosby and Ovechkin came into the league, and they'll be tied together for life, I always put Pittsburgh and Washington kind of on the same path. And I remember when the Capitals won the Cup and they got by Pittsburgh for the first time in forever. And I said, well, that was their first Cup that season. Then they actually won the Cup after winning the last 2 rounds. Pittsburgh, to me, certainly they took a step back this season. They took a step back last season as well. Not like the Capitals, who have taken a big step this season. They're back in the postseason, of course. We know that. I'm not surprised that Sullivan is gone. I think when a situation presents itself like it has in Pittsburgh, you have to have a change in direction. And he's been there a long time. And I don't know what the shelf life is, the average shelf life for coaches, but I certainly do know in the last year and change, I think 15 or 16 different teams have changed their coach. So it's something that is pretty acceptable, I guess, for lack of a better word, and what we expect is going to happen. So I look at whoever is going to be behind the bench. It's not like they're taking over whoever it is, a bad team. When you have Crosby still doing what he did, he was amazing this season. I know Malkin's kind of toward the tail end, so too is Letang. Kyle Dubas has done some good things. He's done some bad things. That big contract he gave to Tristan Jarry, that was not a good one whatsoever. But I do think that it's not like this team is 10, 15 steps back where they were a few seasons ago. Now, Joel Quenneville, look, I'm all for giving guys second chances. I know that, he was in the news not a few years ago for what he did with Chicago and the whole incident with the Blackhawks, and it was just awful. So I'm not making any excuses for that. But if Joel Quenneville does go back to Pittsburgh, it's not like he's going to take on a team that is not that good. They're okay. But this offseason, to me, regardless of who they have behind the bench for Kyle Dubas, is a huge one for the Penguins. Because, look, you don't have a lot of time left with Crosby. You don't have a lot of time left with Malkin or Letang. You really don't. So you want to have as much time as you can left with them. And you want to make sure that you trend in that positive direction, in the right direction. So hate to see a guy lose their job. Sullivan, he's a great coach. I'm sure he'll end somewhere soon. But I think it was kind of the writing was on the wall at that one.
Yeah, probably. It seemed like it's a mutual part in the ways. I won't be shocked if he ends up with the New York Rangers or the Boston Bruins. He's from Boston.
I agree. I agree.
That could be an obvious one. I'm kind of interested to see what Rick Tocchet in Vancouver does. They said they wanted an answer last week. Well, it's Monday and they still don't have one.
Not happening.
Speaking of coaching decisions, I'm going to tell you, I watch a lot of reviews, and there's times I could watch a review 50 times and I still don't know what the answer is going to be in some of them because it's so close you're not sure. Jim Hiller's decision to review the Evander Kane goal after they awarded it a goal to tie the game with just 6 minutes left was without question the worst the worst challenge I've ever seen. Like there was nothing. Nothing. Like they made that decision so quickly because there was nothing to look at. What do you make of that? Because really that might cost them the series.
I completely 110% agree with you. It made no sense to me whatsoever. And it was one of those calls too. How many times, pretty much all the time, do we see these calls being challenged? And there is video evidence to suggest, yes, you know what? I think that team does have a case. They'll see what happens with the war room. And if they get it, they win the challenge, everything's fine. If they lose it, they lose this, whatever. But there is video evidence that presents itself saying that they have a possibility of winning that challenge. I have no idea, to be honest with you. I don't have the answer. I don't know what it was. Was it something that one of the brass, whether it was him or somebody else, that said, you know what, yes, boom. And then right away they made that decision without all of them completely saying, yay, let's do it. I don't know. Because that was, to me, I mean, there was no gray in that. It was black and white. There was nothing that could overturn that call from what I saw, obviously from what you guys saw as well. So if the Kings end up losing this series, it's coming down to things like that. He seems a bit rattled. The whole third period lead and blowing all those leads, etc., all that stuff too, is not playing in their favor. After the 2-0 lead, you thought everything's fine, but it's a game of inches. And for whatever reason, they decided to do that. But I'm with you. I did not agree whatsoever with that challenge.
Ryan, I was at a charity event with a couple older veteran guys, Ray Bork and Ali Afredi, and we were all watching the game in the bar, and we see the Tom Wilson and the Montreal where they're in the bench and they're kind of roughing it up, and everyone in the bar is watching and is excited. Is there any of the series that you find is more physical, or is there a series that you thought would be a little bit more physical?
This one has everything. It does. And when we did our predictions before the series began, a lot of us took Washington. I think most people did. I had, and part of the prediction too is who's the MVP of the series, not the Conn Smythe, who's the MVP of each series. And I picked Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson is somebody who, as we all know, he can change the game in a heartbeat. Yes, Ovechkin can. Logan Thompson with a great save can as well. A lot of great guys on the team. But Tom Wilson, I think everything runs through him, and he runs through everybody. So that game when they went in the bench, Sean, with Anderson and Tom Wilson, and then I saw the coaches and the poor referee in the middle of things. I'm thinking, what are you doing? Get out of the bench. Let them do whatever they want to. You're going to be you're going to be out for the rest of the season if you continue to try to break up with that. It is physical. I knew it would be. I'm a huge fan of Anderson. I really am with Montreal. I think that I know they have Xhekaj on the back end, and he's their tough guy. I would take Anderson over him any day, and that's with all due respect to him. I just think what he brings, not only with the toughness kind of thing, he won't back down from anybody. He'll take on Tom Wilson anytime he can. He's got to be smart, though, because now they're down 3-1, and he can score goals as well. He can put the puck in the net. So it is physical. I was expecting maybe some other series to be more so, and probably not. I don't think I was expecting this one to be as physical, but if you love physical hockey, you got to love what's happening with Montreal and Washington.
Oh God, yeah, it's been fantastic to watch. The Colorado Dallas series, surprisingly, if I'm looking at pure entertainment, it's kind of been a dollar series than I expected.
Yeah, it's kind of like going to that movie that has all the great reviews, and you go, and then all of a sudden, all the fan base is that stinks. That's not anything that give me my money back. This series was, I think, probably arguably the most anticipated one out of all of the 8 ones, especially when it got to the point in the season that you knew that Dallas would be playing Colorado, whether it would be Dallas home or Colorado was home as well to start that whole series in the first 2 games. But I'm with you with that. I think what's happening here is again, both teams are very talented. I think Colorado is the more talented of the bunch. I think they're stronger in many facets of the game. But I think they're almost playing, they're trying not to lose rather than playing to win. And when you do that, you're not going to be playing the way that has gotten you success to this point in the season. I know it's a different beast, the postseason. It is. And you change the game plan a little bit. But if you play not to lose and you're playing I can't make that mistake, you lose the aggression, you lose that forecheck, you lose the identity that got you to that point. And I think that's what we're seeing with the 2 teams. They don't want to make that one error because it's going to go back to bite them. So I'm with you. That to me was one of the most watched series, at least anticipating ones that I was going to say going into this postseason run. But again, it's exciting, but not like some of the other ones that we've seen.
What is your thoughts on the Vegas Minnesota series?
I took Vegas in 5, so I'll just leave it at that. Next question. No, So here's the thing. Vegas has been there from day one. They've had a great team. Every single season they do what they do, and that is win. This season to me was one of the ones that it's been very quiet. You just expect them to be at or near the top of the division by the time the season's done. And guess what? They were at the top of the division by the time the season was done. I underestimated Minnesota. I really did. And I think that was probably because of the injuries down the stretch. Eriksson Ek, I know he came back before the season ended, and Kaprizov too, he came back as well. I'll be honest with you, there's some great players in the league. Kirill Kaprizov, he's maybe in the top 5 right now. Yeah. Right? Okay, hands down, easy then. And this is something where, look, you try to watch all 32 teams as much as you can. It's hard, but you try to do it. When I've had a chance to see what Kaprizov has done in the first few games of this series for Minnesota, it's been ridiculous. I mean, he's doing what McDavid does. Could be arguing with that, but no one's really done what McDavid's done in the first few games of the series against LA. But the point is that he can take over a game. He can take over a team. So I'm a bit surprised, to be honest, that Vegas is not kind of going away with this one. But I give Minnesota a ton of credit. I did think that whoever took on the Minnesota Wild and who took on the St. Louis Blues, and that's Winnipeg, it was not like these teams were going to go through in a sweep. I did pick Vegas in 5, but obviously that is not going to happen. I give Minnesota a ton of credit. I really do.
Ryan, thanks for this, man. We appreciate it, and we'll chat with you again. Enjoy the playoffs.
You bet. Thanks.
There you go. That's Ryan Payton joining us from Sirius XM. The Oilers en route to Los Angeles. We've got a lot of texts coming in, 833-401-1440. A lot of good questions, so we'll get to all those when we return. Here are some more from Chris Knobloch, talking about, like what he's liked about his team. And hey, they're 2-2 now, but where do you want to improve? I think there's one, excluding gifting goals, because we've talked about that ad nauseum, but we know it's just part of their DNA. And when they can eliminate it, then that's how you get to the Stanley Cup final, like we saw last year. If they don't eliminate it, they'll be eliminated from the playoffs. It's just that simple. But there's one other element right now in this team that needs to improve. We'll discuss that next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Spring style and road-ready performance are more affordable than ever. Now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease or finance a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save up to $5,000. Lease a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 4.9% and save $3,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save $2,000. Get ready for the open road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better services, only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
If you bleed orange and blue and you're not using the all-new Play Alberta sports and casino app, then you're missing out. It's the only online sportsbook with odds boosts on all Oilers games. And now, it's not just sports. Play the slots, hit the tables, buy lottery tickets, all in one app, all across Alberta. Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and use promo code GOAL for a $100 bonus. That's promo code GOAL!
Tasting just so right. You can order noodle at noodle.ca. Delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order noodle at noodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order noodle.ca. Noodle.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
It's playoff time, and we've got a lot to talk about. This is Andrew Walker on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. Tune in after every playoff game for the Ridge Social Eatery postgame show. The Ridge is the new hotspot in St. Albert, and it's so good.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Now until April 30th, The Brick is saving you more. Save up to 60% off Canadian-made sofas when you buy the matching Love Seater chair. Save up to 40% off select mattresses. And when you use your Flexity card, get equal monthly payments and 0% interest for 60 months on furniture and mattress purchases. Plus, you're automatically entered to win a $5,000 Brick shopping spree. And the more you buy, the more you save. Up to an additional $1,200 off select major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Not to get too personal, but when it comes to financial services and insurance, Cooperators does just that. Like the "I'm definitely retiring early" plan, or the "Hun, that old tree looks pretty unstable" plan. Your future is personal. Your plans should be too. Cooperators, investing into your future together. Terms and conditions apply.
Looking for one-stop financial services? Give Camrose Insurance Financial Solutions a call at 780-672-9251 and see the difference a personalized plan makes. Cooperators, investing in your future together.
Hey, ready for our big adventure this weekend?
Absolutely. Do we have our 3 T's covered?
You bet. Trip, plan set, we've got the training, and we'll take all the essentials.
Great. I checked all the advisories in the area we're going to and invited a few more friends. Better safe in a group than sorry, right?
Of course. The more the merrier.
Adventure smart when you head out to enjoy our national and provincial parks. Learn more about being safe and smart in the great outdoors at parks.canada.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.246, Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, sports1440.ca. Of course, the app. I know many of you text in all the time and love the app. Well, that's awesome. Take it wherever you are. You like to go walking, drive all over the country. You're always with us. Even go to US, just use the 5G network, and you can get it. Got a lot of texts coming in. Hey, Gregor, I am guilty of, during the second period after the Fiala goal, saying the series is over. Playoffs are crazy. Ben from Beaumont. Yeah, see, I get it. Like, people get frustrated. You get emotional, and you're like, oh, my goodness. We're done. Because I'm sure when it was 3-1 going into the third period, the Oilers hadn't been generating much. You're like, it's over. Good night, Irene. You know, you're like, some people already started. Like, because there's a certain, not Ben, but there is a certain percentage of people that want the Oilers to fail so they can say they were right. Like, trust me, I've seen it. I've seen it all the time. And it's a little bit, no, I'm a fan. I'm like, no, you're more of a fan of wanting to complain than anything else. And, hey, the series, it doesn't mean the Oilers are going to win. There's no guarantee the Oilers are winning now. Like, hey, they just got back to even ground. Now it's a best of 3. And do they have momentum? Maybe for a day. I think once the next game starts, because, and this is what we're going to get to, Brownie, because I talked to Chris Knobloch today. And then when the press conference is over, Ryan Rashog and I had a conversation with him, kind of like, off the record, talking about some other things. And he had mentioned how in his press conference that he feels, like the Oilers in the third period, all the numbers, I have it up. Mike Kelly put him up there. Like it's a different game, right? Like the Oilers are killing them in the third period in overtime, and LA's won the first 2 periods rather handily. And Knobloch said, he goes, I just think our team's being too passive. We're not aggressive early on. We're trying to play safe. And it's funny. He says the Oilers are playing safe, and they're making all the giveaways. So you're kind of like, what are we talking about here? But I think it's true in the sense that that's not who Edmonton is. They've got to press and attack. Now, if you try to, complete a really good pass and you miss it, okay, because you have to live with that, right? It's like people look at Evan Bouchard the last 2 games. You can be mad that Evan Bouchard, maybe tries to dangle a guy here or there and it doesn't work. But you know what he does? He's got the second highest points per game of any defenseman in NHL history who's played at least 50 playoff games. The only guy higher is Bobby Orr. Like, Evan Bouchard does way more good than bad. Because if you have a bad pass that creates a turnover and it goes the other way and they don't score, at the end of the day, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything than a guy who scores the second goal of the game. Then he scores the tying goal of the game after scoring 2 goals the night before. Like, there's, people like, Bouchard, like someone's trying to tell me, he's like, Caden Gooley's new contract. That's the bar. And I'm like, Caden Gooley's got a career high 6 goals and 22 points. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, come on. You can get upset about Bouchard's mistakes, but then you better get equally excited about his good plays. Because if you don't, then your analysis isn't valid because it's not even. You have to get as upset as you get about the bad play, then you have to get equally upset about a good play, especially if it results in a goal.
he's just taking everyone on an emotional roller coaster. It's amazing, the different areas of where I was watching the game and the conversations from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. But he makes plays. He has an impact. One of the most amazing things for me in him that is his ability to just really not get rattled right through his mistakes, which is quite impressive for a young defenseman. Like he just he obviously will he makes some glaring mistakes and in the first period, but it just doesn't seem to affect him in the second and third, and he continues to make that play. And he had such an impact on the game yesterday when keeping the puck in at the end of the game, scoring the 2 goals. Like it's man, it's if he can just find a way to kind of reel himself in with some of the mistakes that he's making, it just but it'll be interesting to see what he does get and what you do because you need the guy, because that you got 2 of the best forwards and he's able to find them, he's able to make those plays, and there's not a whole lot of guys in the league that can do that. But this is a team that hasn't made it easy on themselves throughout from the beginning of the season. That's kind of the trend. They did it. They start the season poorly. They put themselves in a situation where it's like they got to be more desperate, and they're McDavid gets emotionally invested, upset, and you can just see it's like, hey, now we're in one, and this playoffs is no different than the start of their season. It's like, okay, you know what, details, let's dial it in here, guys. So yeah, it's a unique it's been an interesting year, but it's just kind of translated to the playoffs in the way that they start off slow and started the season off slow, and now here we are where it's tied 2-2 and they got the momentum, and going on the road here, in the way that they're feeling, and as a team and individually, it'll be interesting to see if they can, get a win and, against a team that's probably one of the best has one of the best records at home.
Oh yeah, no question about it. And you know what? Hey, LA's got a good home record. I don't think Edmonton's intimidated playing in LA. I think they showed that in game 1. They just didn't play well in game 2 at all. And the thing about the Oilers is they've got to start turning the offensive possession advantage into a goal scoring advantage 5-on-5. Because the Oilers, as I said earlier, have had infinitely more time in the offensive zone than LA. Like 14 minutes for LA, they're 14th in the NHL, 21 and a half minutes for Edmonton, right? Like that's a massive difference. Massive. And the Oilers have to start turning that into goals. And that's where part of wearing down the team comes from. And it's also one where when the Oilers have that much offensive zone time, and I will say, last night, I thought the refs missed the broken stick slash on Connor Brown. That's Janmark got penalized in game 3 for breaking the guy's stick. That's a penalty all day long. Now, later in the shift, Connor McDavid went down and people freaked out. Go watch the replay. David sold that one. I even talked to somebody, I'm not going to say who, was like, yeah, that to me wasn't a penalty within the Oilers, because you have to be rational about it. That wasn't a penalty. The Connor Brown breaking the stick, that's a penalty all day, every day, based on what they call. And even in overtime, when they grabbed him from behind the net, that's probably a penalty, no question. So because if you have that much more offensive zone time, that means you have the puck more, and Brownie, you defended. The longer you have to defend, the odds increase that you'll have to put yourself in a position to take a penalty. It just is. And so, Edmonton would like to probably draw a few more calls for sure. They've gotten better. They didn't take as many penalties, right? They basically cut it in half. That not only the amount of penalties they took, Brownie, but the shots. LA had 20 shots in the power play in the first 2 games. Now they had 10 power play chances, right? So it's like two per one. They cut it in half. The amount of penalties they took was only 5, and they only allowed 5 shots in the power play. So that was a massive difference, right? Like when you talk about, the goalie had better numbers. Well, yeah. What did we talk about on Friday? I don't care really who plays goal, because they don't have like a dominant goalie. Just be solid. And if the Oilers limit their chances, right? I have no problem with Pickard. That's why I play Pickard again in game 5. No question about it, right? But he didn't have to face like guys gifting open looks like they were in the first 2 games.
Pickard's played well, but the team, has played, like you said, they have played well in front of them. That desperation that, they needed to have in game 1 and 2, has come out now in 3 and 4. And, when they play, desperate and, are committed to, shot blocking and have good sticks and are disciplined, yeah, I mean, the forwards look good, the D look good, and obviously the goaltending looks good. I mean, Pickard's done exactly what he's needed to do. They needed this is a coach that's proven from last year. He's got a good feel for his team. He's got a good feel for where guys are at, and who are we to critique or question some of the moves that he's made, because he just, since last year in the playoffs, he's just been able to make the moves that make sense, that have had an impact in the game. And Pickard's been, I think there's a chance, there's a definite chance that I think we're going to see Skinner in there, but we got to give Pickard credit, man. That guy's I almost feel bad for the guy because he's done nothing but deliver. But is he a guy that, next year moving forward, is that a position that eventually they got to upgrade?
Well, it goes back to, can you name a goaltender that you 100% know is an upgrade in the playoffs? Like, everybody would say, well, Connor Hellebuyck. Oh yeah, look at Connor Hellebuyck's playoff numbers. Look at Darcy Kemper's playoff numbers this year. Like, to me, the Oilers could look to upgrade, but then it's all salary cap related too. How are you gonna upgrade? Because then you have to downgrade somewhere else to bring the money in. Because that's just the truth in a salary cap world. Everyone's like, well, I'll get a great goalie. Okay, well, there's the $8 million. So where are you going to take that $7 million from out of your skaters and everybody else and allocate it, right? Because that's just how it works in the salary cap era. Right?
Yeah.
So I think Edmonton would look at it for sure, but I don't see like a lockdown guaranteed for sure goalie, because you're like, the big guys aren't getting traded. Like, unless the Islanders GM is going to trade you Ilya Sorokin.
Yeah.
Right. And so, if you're trading for Sorokin, you're giving up like an Evan Bouchard, or you're going to give up something legit. Okay. You're not trading. You know what? How about you take Jake Wallman and Podkolzin and a first? Like, no, you're going to have to give up something significant if you want a guy like Sorokin. And then lots of the other guys, you're like, well, I think they're good, but I don't know if they are.
You got to kind of try and find that James Reimer, that veteran that's been around, been in some pressure situations. They're hard to find. I don't know what it is about Pickard, because he's done nothing but deliver, but there's just something about his game. I mean, ultimately, you got to make the save. And if you're making the save, that's the biggest thing. It's just something about his game. It's to me, it's the second save, or how you look after you make the save. That's the only thing when I watch, I'm like, oh, okay, like, you made the save. What's the next save look like? So, but hey, he's got the job done, and it's been, he's done a remarkable job. And what's, most important here is, I think that the guys love him. I mean, you see at the end of the game there, Connor McDavid, right, jumps out there, and the celebration, the enthusiasm that he had for him was, they obviously love playing for him. So, yeah, it's interesting.
258, Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook. Next, hey guys, can you help me understand why Draisaitl gets kicked out of the faceoff so often from Grandpa D? Well, I asked Chris Nombach about that last night, and he said, hey, I think in the regular season, I think we led the NHL in guys getting kicked out of the faceoffs, and last night was probably the season high. So here's a few things that I can tell you. Draisaitl likes to cheat on faceoffs. This is well known. He'll be the first guy to admit it. And so, and I was told from NHL people that after game one, the NHL said to the linesman, hey, we have a standard, and we don't think our standard off faceoffs is being adhered to. They don't want guys cheating. They don't want guys moving. That's what I'm just passing it on. Don't shoot the messenger. So you've seen a crackdown. And how it works is, so in the defensive zone, the defensive player has to put his stick down first now. Right? It used to be the advantage in the D zone, not so much anymore. The D zone guy has to put his stick down first. Okay, so now you're standing there, you're holding your stick down. I'm going up against Brownie. I'm in the D zone. I put my stick down. Now Brownie comes in. The linesman doesn't have to drop the puck until Brownie puts his stick on the ice. And some guys, they like to delay it. Why? Because the longer you sit in that, okay, I'm tense, I'm all ready. Now it's 8 seconds. Now it's 12 seconds, right? You lose a little bit. And so they'll try to play the mind games. And so then when the other guy puts his stick down, Draisaitl is trying to cheat, and he's trying to anticipate when the linesman's going to drop the puck. And so he's getting kicked out, right? Like we've seen it all season long. Now you can say, should he stop doing it? Maybe. I was more so, there was once where Kopitar moved, but didn't get kicked out. Now, here's the thing. If If you move and the other guy's stick isn't on the ice yet, that's why you don't get kicked out.
Okay.
So, because sometimes it looks like the guy's there, and that's where the linesman is watching closely. And sometimes on TV, you can't see. So I'm going to put my stick down, but it's not fully down yet. So now you're playing the mind game. So the linesman knows if Brownie's stick is hovering an inch and a half off the ice yet, he still hasn't touched down, I don't drop it. And now the other defensive guy moves. Well, because his stick wasn't down, you let him reset. And so that's what's happening sometimes.
And there's so much. I mean, who's not trying to cheat out on the ice? Especially, I mean, that's, every centerman's obviously trying to cheat and disrupt the timing. And I'm assuming in a faceoff, you're trying to have a little bit of unpredictability in your strategy, because that's what guys are looking for, right? Is that pattern. And I'm sure after each faceoff, it's like, okay, this guy, I can kind of see this is what he does and this is when I'm going to move. And not only are you trying to figure that out, from the guy that you're taking the face off against, but you're trying to figure out the tendencies of the actual linesman, right? Like, what does he do? Does he, is there anything that he's tipping in his movement, that I can pick up on that he's going to actually release it out of his hand? So, yeah, I mean, I think every athlete, is always, trying to find a way or trying to cheat in some way to get the advantage on his side.
Oh, there's always some cheating. And then if one of the wingers moves, then sometimes you get punished as a center.
And they're trying to cheat too, because you're on your toes and you're trying to time it all too, so that you can get in there, and get body position on the winger. Right. So, yeah, I mean, the refs are in a little bit of a tough spot. I mean, the longer it goes, probably the advantage probably goes to the centerman, because that the ref or the linesman at some point is probably just like, he just wants to get that down.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
No?
But, dry settle, it's like a timing thing, and maybe some linesmen get used to it. So you're trying to anticipate the time. But if you move first, then you're out. For those asking about it. Now, again, there's a gray area sometimes, like there is on anything. There's not going to be a perfect face-off one. Last night, it definitely seemed to be magnified a little bit, I would say. Let's get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Road trips, job sites, daily commutes. No matter where you drive, you need a team that keeps you rolling. Fountain Tire does more than just tires. Their expert technicians handle everything from alignments to brakes, shocks, and full mechanical services. Find your nearest store at fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
2 games tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs, getting going at 5. You got the Panthers and the Lightning meeting in Sunrise. Florida leads that series 2-1. Then at 7:30, the Stars host the Avs. That one tied at 2 games apiece. Pittsburgh Penguins and head coach Mike Sullivan agreeing to part ways earlier today. General manager Kyle Dubas saying it was time for a change. Sullivan, who replaced Mike Johnson back in 2015, won the Stanley Cup in his first 2 seasons and made the postseason for the first 7 years. He was the 6th coach in NHL history to win the Stanley Cup after getting hired mid-season. In the association tonight, you've got 2 games as well. The Cavaliers can wrap up their series with the Heat at 5:30, leading 3-0. Then at 8 o'clock, the Warriors taking on the Rockets. Golden State up 2-1 in that one. Jimmy Butler expected to return in the lineup, and some brutal news for the Bucks as star guard Damian Lillard has suffered a torn Achilles, according to reports. Lillard suffered the injury in the opening quarter of the Bucks' 129-103 loss to the Pacers in Game 4. If this is confirmed, it's likely he misses a significant portion of next season, if not the entire thing. Major League Baseball today, a lighter schedule. You've got the Mets taking on the Nationals right now, leading 2-0. Later on, Guardians host the Twins, Yankees in Baltimore, Rangers up against the Athletics, the Tigers head to Houston, Rockies host the Braves, and the Marlins taking on the Dodgers. In the PWHL, Boston and Montreal, that gets going just after 5 o'clock. And the Edmonton Elks announcing the signing of wide receiver Alexander Holland. He joins the Green and Gold after spending the last 3 seasons with the BC Lions, appearing in 38 games. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear the Oil Report, also Cam Pate's 2-minute warning, and we'll be joined by Winnipeg Jets team reporter Jamie Thomas. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
DJ Booster coming at you live with warmer weather, longer days, and dropping 2 new booster mixes for April from Booster Juice. Pucker up, party people! The Sexy Berry Booster Mixer features raspberry and lemon in perfect harmony. Then turn it all the way up. Mango Booster Mixer with delicious mango and pineapple notes.
Mix it up with the new Booster Mixers at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999. Download the Booster Rewards.
Well, a tantalizing Monday afternoon.
On the rocks is serving up 60
How are you?
wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot. And Molson Canadians
Fountain
for
Tire.
$5.25. OTR's TVs, hey, they're so clear.
Connor Halley, Sean Brown with you on Sports.
And every game night during Edmonton's playoff run, special start.
246. Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley, Sports
Be a
1440.
part of the legend. See the menu at
1440.
ontherocks.yeg.com.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Oodle Noodle Origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sean Brown, Sports 1440. The Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game, whether it's casinos, whether it's live dealer, instant sports. They got it all at PlayAlberta.ca. And use the promo code Gregor, 100, Gregor, 100. You will get a free play, 100 bones. Nice. Also, tomorrow, 65 million. Lotto Max. Tickets, PlayAlberta.ca. Jamie Thomas is going to join us coming up next segment. Then we got the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. We'll hear from Chris Knobloch momentarily. Lots more text this one. Hey, Greggs, are you saying the NHL is capable of watching games and telling officials and enforcing the standards? From Blair. I know, Blair. It's outside the norm, but yes. They do, and they probably do it more than people think. Like last night, I had a few people freaking out. Oh, that's a trip on McDavid. If you go back and watch that replay, that's not a trip on McDavid. It's not. Like, he went down, the stick just hit him up in the knee. Like, that's not a trip. And even, the day after, when, the emotion calms down, people in the organization are like, yeah, I saw it. That's not a trip. Now, the slash on Brown that broke his stick, just simply based on every other play they make. You go slash a guy's stick, it breaks, that's a penalty. Janmark had it in game 3. So to me, those are penalties that I find are easy. You don't have to like it. But if you come down and you slash a guy's stick and it breaks, if it's been a penalty, then it's always a penalty. That should be very, very clear. It shouldn't be muddy. That one should be clear. So that's the one that I thought was the big miss.
But I think the league, do they not, as much as coaches would break down a team's game?
They get it. Trust me, because you're in the playoffs now. And I just want everybody to know, linesmen and officials, this is bonus time for them. They're not going out there to screw your team as much as you think they are. They're not, because they want to get the assignments for the next round, because that gets them more money. And you just, you want to be considered one of the top of your position, right? If you got any sort of pride, I would think you're not, hey, you know what? I'm just happy to be here.
Do you think they actually get paid in the playoffs, or are they like the players where it's a bonus?
Well, it's the players. No. The players do get paid. Let's not make like the player.
Well,
now they don't get their same salary, but the players get paid more than enough in the regular season to play in the playoffs, and then there's bonuses and everything like that. But no, the linesmen, you get paid on a per game pay. It's different. Like the linesmen have their salary for the regular season, and then you have playoffs, and that's like your bonus money, right? But no, 100% they get paid. They're not going to be doing the games for free. The players, there's no Stanley Cup for the refs if they win. There's a Stanley Cup for the players and bonuses. Yeah.
And and I'm sure it's probably a pecking order and a status thing too, right? I mean, they probably the better and obviously the better officiator, the refs and linesmen that are calling the NHL play, like the playoffs or in the finals, right? They're probably put themselves in a better position throughout the season too.
Hey guys, when's the last time the Oilers had a true legit number one? Tommy Salo. If they advance around two, I bet they bring in a goalie like Jari to rejuvenate his career. Well, I would say Dwayne Rolson was a pretty good goalie for Edmonton as a starter for 4 or 5 years in a row. So he would be one. Cam Talbot had 3 pretty good years. Like, I think people forget Stuart Skinner last season, when Chris Knobloch came in, that was 69 games. Skinner started 50 games. He had the most wins. He was top 7 in saves, a percentage, top 7 in goals against average, top 7 in saves above expected. Really good numbers. But unless you're one of the elite 5 or 7, guys can have a really good year and then they can struggle. And that can happen. Heck, the Vezina Trophy winner right now has the worst numbers of any goal in the NHL, and it's actually not even close. Stuart Skinner is minus, if you believe in that stat, he's -4 in goals saved above expected. Hellebuck's -8. Minus 8.3, in fact. So that position is it's volatile, it's difficult, it's mental. And then a lot of it relies on, because if you think the team in front of you consistently gives up great chances and you're supposed to save them all, then I just think you have a bias. It's like saying, hey, you're a really good scorer if you score on 15% of your shots. That's it.
I think the situation is probably worse for Winnipeg because they've put so much of their money.
Yes, their team is and people don't like to hear this, but the Oilers team is not built around their goaltenders. Yeah. No one at the start of the season was like, top 5 most important players on the team, Stuart Skinner's in there. No, he wasn't. He never was. It would be McDavid, Draisaitl, Ekholm, Bouchard, Hyman. Go down the list. Hyman after a 50-goal season, it would have been him, right? For sure. Yeah. Or it's just how it is. And would you want them to make an extra save or 2? Okay, valid. But I go back and I don't even want to rehash it, but you look at games 1 and 2. How many awful goals did he allow? None. None of them were awful, right? Probably want the Byfield goal back, second one. Sure. Other than that, I don't think there's much of an issue. Now, did he make a great save? No. So, okay. But how many of the Oilers skaters made great plays? Guys making $5 million, $8 million. How many of them made great plays? First 2 games, not many. Like outside of McDavid, who gets paid to make great plays all the time and is capable of making great plays all the time. So I think you have to look. Would you want to have better goaltending? Are you confident going into games that the goalies are going to make all the saves? Probably not. I can understand it, but that's how the roster is.
It's amazing that's what makes those guys so special too. Is McDavid and Draisaitl. It's been a guarantee year after year. The consistency and the level that they play at, right? It's amazing. And that's what makes those guys so special. And that's, when you look at, other guys that, play in the league, that's the difference of, being great and keeping yourself in the league is playing at that level and that consistency.
Now, let's hear from Chris Knobloch, the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers, as we get to the Oil Report, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease or finance a 2025 XC plug-in hybrid from 0.49% financing or save an additional $3,500. Great vehicles, better service, Volvo Cars Edmonton.com. And he just asked about, working guys into the series. John Klingberg, Trent Frederick, Evander Kane, and just kind of how his plan of attack has been to get guys involved.
Yes, able to depend on a lot of guys. Not sure what I was going to get out from certain guys and how long I was going to get them up and running and playing well. It's hard coming back from injuries, especially when you've been out for such a long period of time. Evander Kane, Klingberg, Trent Frederick, numerous other guys coming back from injuries, but ones that have been out for a long time. It takes a while to get going, especially the bigger guys. And then not only finding their game is important, but also finding their game and how it fits within our game and who they're going to play with and who's going to complement who. But, starting to see some things right now, and, hopefully we can build on some momentum.
Well, yeah, you want to hopefully build on it, but I'm not sure you necessarily can. Asked about just, with Darcy Kemper, and he had great regular season numbers, but the Oilers have found a way to get to him. And, bodies in front seems to be, a big focus here lately of the Oilers to get traffic in front.
Well, one thing I've always found since I've been here, I've been very impressed and maybe even a little surprised at how motivated or how the guys are focused on winning and will do anything at any cost. And, as an outsider before I got this job, I thought of the Edmonton Oilers as this high-skilled, freewheeling offensive team, and they score these tic-tac goals, highlight reel stuff. But, my time here, I've been really impressed at how motivated they will score goals any way they have to. And, and changing our strategy to simplify things and make it a little more blue collar and maybe less pizzazz. Guys have been very willing to change their games and wanting to do those things. And, as a coach, I've been very pleased with that. I'm very fortunate to have a group of guys willing to do whatever is necessary to win hockey games. So I think our guys are willing to just do anything. And, of course, when you have McDavid and Draisaitl, you're going to see some nice goals and some nice plays, but I don't think it really matters how it goes in the net for them. They'll want to get the job done.
Yeah, well, hey, you can't always score pretty goals, Brownie.
No, especially in the playoffs, and the fact that, I feel like their net presence has been outstanding. You look at Perry, and, he's exactly where he should be. He's in front of the net, screening the goalies, hanging around, making it difficult. Kane's been, I didn't really know what to expect with Kane, missing the amount of time that he has, but, getting into the lineup and he to me is just, he's moving his feet. He's heavy. He's hard to play against. And Podkolzin is another guy that, man, he's coming in and he's coming in hot. He's doing a super job of getting in on the forecheck, finishing his check. He's when he's playing the way he's playing, that makes it hard for defensemen. Like, as we were talking about earlier, when you're going back and you're constantly up against the glass over and over, it's just, it's gonna pay off for these guys.
I look at like Trent Frederick, and I think Trent Frederick slowly, like yesterday, he had some really quality chances. Like, he's around the net more. You can see it, and he's not gonna play huge minutes. I don't think. I just don't think his ankle's ever going to be that effective this year. But when you look at the depth of the Oilers, so I'll break down the numbers so the Oilers have 9 forwards, and this is in 4 games, I should mention. 9 forwards who have a goal so far in the series. And every forward, they've had 13 because Skinner played one game. Every forward has at least 1 point. Compare that to the Kings. The Kings they've also had 13 forwards in. 8 of them have a goal, and only 9 have a point. So the depth, the Oilers are getting contributions from every different player here or there. Because keep in mind, if every forward has a point and you prorate that to over, an 80-game season, 1 point in every 4 games means every forward on your team is a 20-point player. It's not bad, right? And then if every guy has a goal every 4 games, well, that means you got 9 20-goal scores, right? So I'm just saying, no one can complain about the Oilers' production right now. And if you are, I think you're missing and saying, oh, they rely too much on the big guys. No, they don't. And offense isn't their problem. We'll repeat it for the 9,999th time. Offense isn't their problem. They want to continue to try to reduce their goals against. That's a team thing. It's not just the goalies. It's going to be a team thing for sure. 3:20 when we return, we'll get more from Knobloch on the Oilers and his thoughts on kind of where he wants to go with the team. Jamie Thomas will join us. Hey, speaking of goaltending, so it's hard to put it into comparison, but it would be like if the Oilers were 4 games into the series and Connor McDavid had no points and was -5 or -6. That's really the only way I can compare when you look at Hellebuck's regular season and then you look at Hellebuck's postseason. Right? Now, goalie's a totally different position than a forward, but that's to me how it'd be. McDavid would have no points and -5 or 6 in 4 games. Well, maybe 1 point. Because Hellebuck in the second game was okay, but he didn't face much. He had 4 good chances. So what is up with Winnipeg? And the St. Louis Blues made a very different change. In the games in Winnipeg, the first 2 games of the series, their defensemen had 24 shots on goal. And their forwards had, I think it was 60. In the 2 games in St. Louis, it was split 50-50. It was 51 shots for the forwards, 50 shots for the defensemen. They just decided we're going to get the point back and we're going to have layered screens and we're going to crash the net. And that's what they're going to do. And guess what happened? They outscored Winnipeg 12-3 in the 2 games in St. Louis. So they've, just like Colorado last year, not every goal is on a screen, but they're getting more bodies there. And it's clearly an era that Hellebuck isn't comfortable with. So we'll discuss that next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Spring style and road-ready performance are more affordable than ever. Now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease or finance a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save up to $5,000. Lease a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 4.9% and save $3,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save $2,000. Get ready for the open road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better services, only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Hey, Alberta, the all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app, right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take 1 for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Tall Legacy, tall Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's gonna love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Fountain Tire, we're all about one thing, taking care of your vehicle. Oh, and your wallet. I guess that's 2 things. Save up to 20% off select tires until June 14th. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium 1-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular price. The works, the meats. Pick your favorite specialty pizza and get even more delicious Papa John's to enjoy. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Spring, where everything is coming up roses, except for GS Construction. We are heading underground, and we couldn't be happier. Spring is always a busy time of year for everyone trying to get out there and do some work. Well, GS Construction agrees, and we also agree that we just might need some help. So if you're looking to work and join a group where safety, teamwork, and continuous improvement have been at our core since 1974, send us a resume. Come work with us this spring. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Ritchie Brothers Auctioneers presents a massive 5-day unreserved heavy equipment auction at their Nisku site, April 29th to May 3rd, 8 a.m. Live online bidding on offer core construction, heavy equipment, trucks, trailers, nearly every industry covered. Register to bid online. It's free. Priority bids, timed auction, and on-site viewing on now. Auction starts Tuesday. Demand for equipment is strong. Contact your local territory manager to consign. More at rbauction.com.
Because we're tough in the north. Mark your calendars for the DeWalt Tough in the North sales event. 1 day only at Prime Fasteners and Tools, Tuesday, April 29th. Join Prime Fasteners and Tools for exclusive 1 day only DeWalt promos, live demos, and awesome giveaways. Come check out the latest tools and accessories from DeWalt, Stanley, and Boston. All on sale at Prime Fasteners and Tools in Edmonton. DeWalt's Tough in the North sales event, Tuesday, April 29th at Prime Fasteners and Tools, 12304 184th Street.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Garage Superstore by Premier Built Garages, the ultimate destination for everything garage, storage solutions, cabinets, vehicle hoists, accessories, and even Traeger grills. Visit our massive 8,000 square foot showroom at Calgary Trail on 34th Ave or online at garagesuperstore.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.327. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagrams. It's time to go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. Of course, they've got their full-time management, estimating, and dispatch team, technicians fully trained and very informed. Also, they got the bucket truck that can help you 45 feet, get you to all the exterior lighting, electrical repairs. So they do it all at actionelectrical.net. Now, I'll tell you right now, if I was writing an article in Winnipeg, this is the easiest title that you could have. And it's fitting. And if somebody didn't write it this morning in Winnipeg, and our next guest will tell me if it's right, I'll be very disappointed, because this is an easy, hit it out of the park title for your article. What the hellebuck is going on? Simple. Straight to the point. Jamie Thomas joins us from Winnipeg. JT, did anybody use that title? Because if not, I'm disappointed, because that's an easy sell right there.
That's like a Sun headline.
Yes.
100%. That's like Edmonton Sun, Winnipeg, Calgary Sun. That's a headline that's for sure ripped across the cover of every newspaper in any city. So yeah, I see people's points in that department. But I mean, and I'm going to go into full drinking the Hellebuck Kool-Aid here. I would argue 9 of those are on the defender's fault of the 11 goals that he let in St. Louis.
Okay.
Because I don't like there was a lot of screenshots. There was the Kyle Connor giveaway in the third period that led to him being pulled for the second time, where he didn't get back, and they let Robert Thomas run right up the middle of the ice. Like there's too many easy goals that they weren't giving up in the first 2 games of the series, and looked very similar to the breakdowns that they had against Colorado. And so and today, and I'll give Connor Halley credit for this one, I have never heard him say I need to be better until today. So I give him a lot of credit to go up to the media and say that, but he followed it up and said, I will be better. But I can go down the list of all the defensive miscues that were made, and battles that need to be won along the boards, and especially that they play a perfect road period in Game 4. They're leading 1-0. They're dominating the period. They lose a battle on the wall. Puck comes to Parayko. His shot gets deflected in front. Like that. That's a crusher, and that's not on the goaltender. So I know the numbers don't look great at this point, but I would argue there's a lot. And Neil Pionk said today they feel bad about it. They're Adam Lowry said they need to be better. But I think that's something that's notable is the fact that Connor Halley said he needs to be better, and that's a big step, I think.
Well, to me, it's obvious change in game plan from the Blues.
Yes, you got to give them credit, right?
Yeah.
They're just like they were not getting to the front of the net in games 1 and 2, and they were doing that nonstop in games 3 and 4. Like it was a noticeable difference. So the Jim Montgomery, as everyone knows that follows this game, is one of the best coaches in the NHL, and he certainly showed it in games 3 and 4.
Well, and I think they look and say, because it's funny, we have Kevin Woodley on lots, talks about goaltending, informs us a lot. And he says, hey, every goalie has a weakness. I don't care who the goalie is. Even the best goalies have a weakness. And when you're in a playoff series and you face them all the time, now you really try to exploit that. And we saw it with Colorado. And he said, Hellebuyck, if there's a weakness, it's looking around screens. And so St. Louis had 24 shots from their blue line in the first 2 games. They had 50 in the games 3 and 4 in St. Louis. Like, JT, it's clearly obvious. And I watch one of those games and I'm like, every time they're in the offensive zone, cycle down low, back to the net, everybody funnels to the net.
Yeah. And I mean, and the other one, the second goal, I believe, is like Brandon Tanev, doesn't block the shot, doesn't get out to the point to block the shot either. So to your point about more shots coming from there has to be more of an effort to block shots or get out there if you know what's happening too as well. But St. Louis, it was a masterful performance in games 3 and 4. And, Scott O'Neill said they lost game 3 in the first period. And then that game was pretty much over. But yeah, what they've done have exposed Connor Hellebuyck's weakness. I thought he has improved massively in terms of handling the puck. But there is been a couple of lack of communication. No one's telling him somebody's coming, or they're not slowing down the forecheck of the Blues either, and that's making his puck handling look a little bit like a lot worse than it has been the last couple of years, in my opinion. But St. Louis has to be 100% given a lot of credit for what's happened here in the last couple of games.
You look at so if you're the Jets, how do you counter this? Because you know what the Blues want to do. So that's their game plan. Yeah. They're going to funnel. So what the Jets got to do a better job blocking out. Hellebuck's got to do a better job looking around the screens. What do the Jets have to do to counter this?
Yeah, listen, the number one, they got to start getting some more, not more production, some production from their middle 6 forward group. Like I've been talking all year about how deep they are. And, they were able to survive the loss of Gabe Vilardi and Nikolai Ehlers in the first 2 games because they defended well. And their structure was in place. So all that structure has been thrown out the window. It's just like, I don't know. I didn't know what that team was in game 3. And game 4, they were a little bit better for 30 minutes, but then it went right back to everything. Silly little mistakes that cost you. They got to cut those down. And, the Nemestikov line's got to get going here at some point. It can't all be whether or not Gabe Vilardi is back in game 5, which it looks like he's going to be. You start up again, but the Lowry line's got to start producing a little bit too, right? So I think the middle 6 forward group has got to do a lot more to help the Winnipeg Jets out in this series as well.
So if Vilardi comes in, who do you feel is going to come out?
Listen, Brownie, I totally think it's good. David Gustafson will come out. I think you certainly have to move Alex Iafallo down the 4th line with Tanev and Morgan Barron, and then you have you're dropping him down to the 4th line. That says everything you know about their depth at that point. But it's through no fault of David Gustafson or anything like that. They're just better. That's the best lineup I think you can have. But Tanev, of course, interchangeable on the 3rd and 4th lines, but David Gustafson would be the odd man out in my opinion.
The Jets, and I saw Hellebuck's comments today, and of course, you're the leader of that team. He's one of them. He's like, yeah, hey, I'll be better, no problem. And that's how you have to feel as an athlete. The minute you start questioning yourself, you're done. So,
yeah.
You look at Velarde comes in, but like the Jets offense, we can talk about what they gave up. They scored nothing, 3 goals in 2 games. You ain't winning.
Yeah.
So, what happened to their offense?
Well, how about this? Their power play is 2 for 12. It's the best power play in the National Hockey League in the regular season. And I'll tell you what it is. It's no Nick Ehlers and Gabe Velarde on the top power play unit. When you don't have Gabe Velarde on the top unit, you don't have that net front presence. And all of a sudden that whole number 1 power play becomes perimeter. And that's all apologies to Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele, Cole Perfetti, all perimeter guys for the most part. And Velarde is so good with his hands and playmaking around the front of the net and tipping pucks and being there for rebounds. That's a massive loss for them. The last 2 years, going back to last year, I believe their power play is only 16% without Gabe Velarde in the lineup. I think it's like 25 with him in it. So that's a massive loss. And I mean, you take 2 of your top 6 forwards out of the lineup, there's going to be problems there. But the power plays that get going and the penalty kill, which is, showed markedly huge improvements after acquiring Brian Tanev and Luke Shen before the deadline. That's got to clearly it's got to be a lot better. So there's special teams which were a big catalyst for reasoning for winning games this year has not been there. So Gabe Velarde, it's going to take him a bit. I mean, he's missed a lot of time here, and it's a very physical series. And all of a sudden, you're being thrown in the middle of it in Game 5 in front of the whiteout and everything like that. It's going to take him a bit, but it's if he plays, which it looks like he's going to, that's a massive addition for the Winnipeg Jets in front of the fans on Wednesday.
So, do you feel like would there be a chance where you think Comrie comes in and actually starts a game?
No, I don't, and I get where you're coming from too, because it just unless they like completely he gets bombed, but I don't know how you can look at your number 1 guy who's a Vezina. He's going to win the Vezina. We'll go with that. And there's a Hart Trophy candidate and go, okay, listen, you got to sit. I just don't see it happening. They're going to ride with the guy that's brought him there. It would have to be an extreme circumstance where Eric Comrie gets to start a game, and you're just hoping that you hold serve on home ice. And here's another thing, guys. Like Scott Arneal's pointed this out, flat out. Every series in the Western Conference is 2-2. St. Louis may be the 8th seed in the Western Conference, but they're a pretty freaking good team for an 8th seed. Minnesota's given Vegas all kinds of fits. So it is a gauntlet in the Central Division. It was never viewed, and that's what Connor Halley. No one thought this was going to be easy. And I think anybody that watched it, know how well the Blues were playing before the playoffs, ever thought the Jets were going to sweep St. Louis. Now, did they see them? Connor Halley getting pulled twice at the games 3 and 4. No, and Scott Arneal admitted he's not happy how they got here. But they played all year for home ice. We've heard this before, and now you got to hold serve, and that's pretty much what you're hoping for in Game 5.
JT, enjoy the game. Is there nervousness around the fans are always nervous, just as a playoffs,
always
as you should be. But what about the Jets themselves? Like we saw what happened last year, right? Like they kind of got steamrolled and they gave up a lot of goals, and suddenly they're looking at, geez, here we go again. Now they're not down 3-1, it's 2-2, and they got home ice advantage, so they should still be in a good position. But is there a little bit of here we go again?
No, and that's where they've been preparing themselves all year for this. They've done a great job of just like bouncing back from things, and I thought they handled themselves quite well. And I've talked about this already in the first period, but as Adam Lowry said today, we're not going to reinvent the wheel. We know what makes us successful. So they're not like grasping at straws and staring at each other and going, what are we going to do next? It's just all those little mistakes added up so quickly in St. Louis just can't happen, and you have to improve that. So I don't think there's any finger pointing going on. I don't think there's any concern. Will they be concerned if they lose Game 5 on home ice and go to St. Louis down a game? Maybe, but I wouldn't say there's any concerns or lack of confidence going into Game 5, considering how well they played here on home ice so far.
Awesome stuff, man. We'll be watching. Should be a great series. Appreciate your time.
All right, guys. All the best. Talk to you soon.
There you go. That's Jamie Thomas joining us from Winnipeg, the Jets. And, not every goal is on the goalie, but when you're the big-time goalie and you've allowed 11 goals in the last 2 games, and you look at the last 3 postseasons where your numbers have just cratered. So the question is, the system that the Jets play, Now, that's one. Now, the other thing is, Brownie, and this is where people will say size doesn't matter, but look at the size of the Jets' defense overall. And when you get into the playoffs, now you're trying to box out a guy, and you're only 6'1", 180, and you got a bunch of big forwards on the other side. Like, it matters.
Oh, it's tough too, because you're not the game is so fast now, and the guys are so big and so strong with that. Once they get body position, if you're not quick enough to recognize the situation and get that body position early, and they get in front of the net, you're not moving anyone out, right? And no goalie is going to stop what they can't see. And traffic is and when you're getting pucks on net with big bodies there, I mean, it makes it tough. And it's so much of it, as a defenseman in today's game, is that recognition and quickly recognizing, and keeping body position and getting them in a position early, right? Because, instead of now one guy screening the goalie, now two guys are in there because you're just not moving them. So it's tough. I think, size, especially when it gets into the playoffs, it's good on St. Louis for recognizing how this game doesn't have to be pretty, right? And especially in the playoffs, that's the importance of just, getting the puck low to high, getting pucks on that. And then the important part too is just, get, the commitment to blocking shots, whether it's your forwards or your defensemen. That's a big thing in playoffs. And that's one thing that you look, that's one of the things that, in playoffs that everyone is expected to do is just, eat pucks, and, the good teams do it.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I noticed Bouchard doesn't get hit much. Why do you say that? Well, the Oilers' defense overall, LA's top four, two of the reasons he doesn't get hit. The Kings aren't a forechecking team. That's not their style. But the Oilers' top four defensemen have been hit a total of, I think it's 36 times. 8 to Nurse, Bouchard, and Wallman, and then 12 to Kulak. Compare that to the other side, and the top four in LA have been combined hit 56 times. Now, Edmonton forechecks more, right? You watch it. The Oilers yesterday, how many times did they chip in place, right? They not just dump and chase, but dump in place. They put it into a spot where they know the defenseman and Browning talked about. That becomes taxing, where every time you got to go back hard to get the puck. A, you got to exude energy more to do it. B, now you got to get hit. And the Oilers 56 to 36. And keep in mind that the Oilers have had offensive zone possession time of way more than the Kings so far in this series. And they're hitting them way more. It's a game plan, and the Kings don't forecheck. And that's why I said, so because you'll look at John Klingberg in this series, and he's looking very good. When you play Vegas and Minnesota, that's a totally different matchup because they're a forechecking team.
Well, especially in the third period there. I mean, it just seemed like, LA just was quite content on just putting pucks in and, not getting caught out there for an extended shift. And, there was quite often, Edmonton was just quickly able to transition that puck. And like you said, it's just, when you start to get a team, because they're not forechecking, and you start to get the team a little bit on their heels, that's when Edmonton started to take control of the game. And obviously when they started getting the momentum and they tied it, I mean, and then the overtime, I mean, they were lights out and just, playing with a ton of confidence. But, I imagine that going into, LA, and they're tactically, I'm assuming they're probably going to make some adjustments like every good coach and every team does. They're probably going to throw a little something different at the Oilers. And I would look for, typically going into the playoffs, I mean, Bouchard would be a guy that you'd want to target, right? He's a guy that you're going to want to finish checks because he's eating up minutes, and he's a guy that, he's going to look to, he looks to make plays. You're going to want to take that time and space away from him.
100%. 343, Gregor Brown, Sports 1440. We'll return. We got Cam Tate in the 2-minute warning. Lots more good text to get to, 833-401-1440, and our inbox. It's the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take one for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. Are you ready, guys?
We were born ready. Heck yes, Nuge. Drop the beat. Legacy, Legacy. We freaking killed it, Nuge. That's what I'm talking about, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Nice guys. We're going to sell a lot of air conditioners.
Hey, doesn't Legacy offer no payments and no interest for a year on those?
Yeah, well, thanks for the assist on the copy points there, Nuge.
It's just what I do.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
There's one. And another. No, not spring flowers yet, but rather huge deals. It's GMC's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick. Nab 0% financing up to 72 months on our most popular Sierra half-tons, or massive discounts starting at $8,000. Choose your truck from a great selection, like the fabulous all-new Canyon, right up to the trailer-hauling Sierra HD with the industry-leading Duramax diesel. Spring into Wolf GMC Buick today and snag your truck, and see the savings at wolfgmcbuick.com.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium 1-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular price. The works, the meats. Pick your favorite specialty pizza and get even more delicious Papa John's to enjoy. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade: safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
In the digital realm, our kids face threats, but we have the power to guard their innocence. Visit protectchildren.ca, a national charity teaching parents and kids how to stay safe online. Empower their curiosity, not their fears. Visit protectchildren.ca.
Explore Internet just got 10 times faster. 5G Ultra brings incredible speeds to homes in rural and small town Canada. Upgrade today at xplore.ca.
Been waiting for this since preseason. It's playoff time, and Sports 1440 is your home for all things hockey. Kevin, Lowtide, Jason, and the pre- and post-game shows with Andrew. So many reasons why we're Edmonton's sports leader.
When I met you in the summer, to my heartbeat sound.
Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Of course, Sports 1440, where sports lives. And of course, Edmonton's only all sports radio station. Thanks as always for listening and of course watching. And Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And if you haven't tried it, live dealers, they got casino, sports, lotteries, instants, all that you like in one-stop shop. Check it out, PlayAlberta.ca, where all the revenue stays right here in the province of Alberta. We'll get to a lot of texts and more, but first let's get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They are hiring. If you want to work for a great company, offers very competitive wages. You'll have RSP matching, tuition reimbursement, and even a hiring bonus. Go to legacyheating.ca. Here is Cam Tate and his 2-minute warning.
Hello there, Jim Hiller. How you doing? Got everything you need on that charter flight into Los Angeles today. Got to ask there, Coach, when you took off from the big Edmonton International, did you want to go up to the cockpit and ask those good people in the air traffic control center to review the runway you took off from and bring the aircraft back to zoom down another one? Maybe you saw bird interference, and when the flight attendant served you your meal, did you text the catering company and asked if they could review the menu because you saw too many hash browns on your play? And when you picked your movie, okay, sorry. Okay, but you can pick up what I'm lying down, right? Gregor had a great line when he teed off on this radio bonanza extravaganza off. Gregor asked you if you have ever cheered for a goal 3 times. 3 times, Connor Halley. If Gregor did have any hair, he would have pulled all of it out. Gregor didn't understand why Hiller would challenge Evander Kane's goal Friday night. Game 3, a goal which tied the game 3-3. Those of us in the press box looked at each other and asked but one question. What the hell is Hiller smoking? Hiller's request for review backfired more than Uncle Pete's 1979 grain truck. The Oilers got a power play and went on to beat LA 7-4, as Gregor said. And for once, I agree with him. If LA loses this baby, the turning point could be Hiller's faux pas. If it is, there you go. Now, I know, momentum in the playoffs. Lots of people, very smart hockey people, say it simply doesn't exist. So we will see if the Oilers carry their own momentum from Sunday's 4-3 Oilers overtime win into Tuesday's Game 5. If it does, it will be on the scoreboard. And, sorry, Coach Hiller, that cannot be reviewed. Please make sure today you vote. 2-minute warning. Tater, Gregor Show, Sports 1440.
It was an absolutely stunning decision. I don't know why, because I gave the Oilers 2 goals in 10 seconds. That's essentially what that, and you go from being down 4-3 to suddenly being up 5-4. And, now, would Edmonton have won anyway if they don't get the power play? We'll never know. So, to say it guaranteed them back in the series. Yes, for sure. But they still might have won the game anyway. We'll never know. But it certainly gave them some life. And then, Quentin Byfield late in that third period. Brownie, that's really, I think, the first goal of the series where you can say clearly that LA gifted Edmonton a goal. Like, gifted him the opportunity to get a goal.
I imagine that he probably didn't sleep well at all. Like they're that close from walking out with a W. And I'm assuming, you were in the press conference. I'm assuming the frustration that, with the post-game comments from the coach there, is partly, because they are so close. And I'm sure that call is something that he's probably losing sleep over himself, right? That's the fine line that the playoffs and these guys are dealing with between winning and losing. And now, clearly the momentum is kind of swinging the other way. But, like the Oilers and like everyone has to do, they got to have a short memory here and kind of refocus. But yeah, there was lots of opportunities and chances for LA to kind of put the game away. And the thing is when you have McDavid and the skill and Draisaitl, the players that they have, they can capitalize on it. And you could almost, like, I don't know how you felt watching it, but you could almost just kind of feel it in the building. Like it was like, hey, they're going to come back here. And that place was electric.
Oh gosh. Yeah, it was. People were excited. Hey guys, can we touch on for a moment on how physical Hyman has been and stepped up his physicality? He's like a wrecking ball out there. Painter from Fort Mac. What is true, Zach? And you know what? In the postseason, if you're not scoring, you got to be doing something to get noticed more than ever. You need that in the regular season, but Zach Hyman, would he like more goals? Yeah, Corey Perry's kind of supplanted him on the first unit power play. People have very quietly, Corey Perry's the first guy over the boards now in the first unit, and I think it has to do a little bit with his hands down low, a little bit. Now they kind of split it, but still that's a change. And now Zach Hyman, you could be selfish and be like, well, this isn't good. I want to play and I want to be there. But he's like, no, I'm going to play hard. And, his work ethic's never been something that Zach Hyman's afraid of. But I do agree with you. I think he's really amped up his physical play. The Oilers have made it part of their game plan to be physical on LA's defensemen. And the whole goal of this is, Brownie, you hit in game 1 or 2 in the hopes that it can wear them down in game 5, 6, or 7. And, was that part of the overtime? Maybe it's just fatigue. Maybe it's momentum. I don't know, but they only played 9 forwards and 4 defensemen, and they looked a step behind Edmonton. And really, Edmonton, as the game has gone on, has gotten better every time. So is their conditioning better? Maybe. Is it the fact that they play more players? Probably. But Edmonton now has to find a way to play better in the first 40 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and I love the fact that, you're making deposits, those hits, and the way you play and the details and the commitment to defending and playing hard, just like you said, it pays off in game 2, game 3, game 4 in the third period and that. But I love that. It gives me goosebumps when you talked about Hyman there. I mean, he's obviously would probably like to be contributed a little bit more offensively, but that's the professional, and that's a professional right there. And just how do I impact the game and find a way to add value? And that's why Hyman is a leader on this team. And that's why, he's a big part of this team, is because he's not this, at this time of the season isn't a time for anyone to feel sorry for themselves. And I wouldn't expect, any less from a guy like that. And, he's got a lot of value, and that's contagious too, because when he's doing that, you could see Podkolzin's doing that. You got Kane doing that, right? There's a lot of buy-in. And so, yeah, it's, you watch him get it on the forecheck. He's not scared to, when he puts it in there, he's going in there, whether he gets the hit, he's getting in there. He wants to get he's getting the first touch too. And he's a big, strong, he's skilled. He can hold on to the puck and he can protect it. He can keep it alive, and he can make that next play to keep that offensive, offensive opportunities going.
Hey, Gregor, do you think it was a good no challenge by Knobloch when Pickett's pad got pushed by Fogle from Jesse? 100%. That was not going to get overturned, and here's why. So how the rule basically is, if the puck is against the pad, then it's open season. You're allowed to hit the puck. If the puck is off the pad and you go to hit it, and in the process you hit the puck and then you push it into the pad and in, then it's going to be considered no goal. And so they looked at it. The review guy's like, no, the puck's on the pad. You're allowed to touch it at that point. And now, does Pickard feel like there's something on him? Yes. And his natural reaction was like, he's waving it off. He wants it called right away. And I understand that. That's in the moment. But Knobloch, and we spoke to Knobloch again about it today, and he was like, yeah, it was not, the chances of that getting overturned would have been very low. So why do you risk it, right? Now you're down 2-0, and you're going to give him a power play right away. There's no chance. But we watched it again. I watched it today. And based on the ruling of what they rule it at, there's no way they would have overturned.
So if the puck's alive, so you could see the puck, right? So he swiped at it. But if the puck is underneath his pad and you push it in, that's
underneath the pad. But no, when because usually it's not underneath the pad, because goalies don't play that way. Like the goalies go down and their pads go flat like this. So if the puck is touching up against the pad, you're allowed to hit it. If the puck is 6 inches, 2 inches off, and you hit the puck into the pad and then your momentum pushes them in, that's how they rule it. Now, everything is somewhat subjective. Keep that in mind. But the Oilers were pretty confident that there was nothing that would have overturned it, for sure. Hey guys, what did you notice the biggest difference between the goaltending in games 1, 2, and 3, and 4? Well, the biggest difference was, let's just start with the penalty kill. In the first 2 games in LA, they scored 5 power play goals on 10 chances. They had 20 shots and 35 shot attempts on those power plays. 20 shots. Do you know how many shots on the power play they had in the last 2 games? They had 5 power plays. 5. right? Like you look at the two they scored on Friday night, like those penalty kills, they had nothing going. The Oilers actually outshot them. Connor Brown had the best chance shorthanded. And then it was kind of the broken play. They get it back to Doughty. He just assists one through and it scores. You're just like, what do we do there? There was no breakdown or anything like that. So the penalty kill was way better. It limits the chances. Then look at the other goals that you saw. Kempe getting wide open chances. Now, he did get a chance down the wing when McDavid lost him 4-on-4. What happened? Time and space, goal. Different goalie, same result. Guy's a great shooter right now. Don't give him time and space.
Yeah.
Right? Don't give him time and space. So I thought Pickard, did he have to make a great save? Right? Like Kemper made a great save on Draisaitl in the second period last night. Right? I don't think Pickard he had to make some really good saves, but he didn't have to make a great save, which is fantastic because then you're not, Edmonton didn't rely on their goalie to win them the game because I'm not sure they're built that way. And I'm starting Pickard in game 5. I don't even think it's much of a question. Do you, Brownie?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you made a change because you wanted to try and change it up and get some momentum and a different look, and it's worked out. He's continually pushing the right buttons, but yeah, they're PK. I mean, they're making good reads. They got good sticks. They're, taking away lanes, but I also thought they did a really good job on the entries. I thought they did a good job of holding the blue line and creating some turnovers, and that's where you really notice, you watch, I mean, McDavid he makes it look so easy. He's so, whatever you throw at him, he just is able to find a way to kind of weave around and get the zone relatively easy. But yeah, I thought, it's really going to come down to the specialty teams. And, they're a team that's, reading off of each other well and getting pucks down when they actually have an opportunity to get it on their stick.
Hey, boys, what about Fiala's breakaway goal? Picking up the pass above his head. Why is that a high stick? Braden. Well, good question. If you go through it frame by frame and you look when he actually makes contact with the puck on his stick, it's not above his shoulders. Where the contact was, the puck above his shoulders at one point and his stick above his shoulders at one point, yes. But when the two collided and connected, they weren't, and that's why the Oilers didn't challenge, because that would have been a pretty easy one, right, for them to, because the video review guy for the Oilers, they have the machine that they have and the ability to go it frame by frame so quickly is amazing. And I got an opportunity to see it, not the Oilers one, a different one. And it was clear in the frame by frame that it wasn't a high stick, and that's why they didn't challenge.
Yeah, you know what? I was kind of a few rows deep on that one, so I didn't really have a chance. I was that night was a little bit blurry, to be honest with you, at different times, and that was one of the times.
Nice. Let's get to a quick break. When we come back, here comes the sun. Your next chance to qualify to win a $15,000 turnkey solar system for your home, courtesy of Action Electrical. Let's get to the Con-Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. Try their new 2 booster mixers, the Zesty Berry Booster Mixer and the Bango Mango Booster Mixer. Download the rewards app. Try them today at Booster Juice.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
2 games tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. At 5, you got the Panthers and Lightning from Sunrise. Florida leading 2-1. Then at 7:30, Avs taking on the Stars. That series tied at 2 games apiece. Off the ice, Penguins and head coach Mike Sullivan agreeing to part ways. GM Kyle Dubas saying it was time for change. In the association, you got the Heat taking on the Cavs at 5:30. Cleveland leads that series 3-2. Then at 8 o'clock, the Warriors host the Rockets. Jimmy Butler expected to play in that one. Major League Baseball right now, Mets beating up on the Nationals 7-0 in the top of the 7th with the bases loaded, no outs. Later tonight, Twins in Cleveland, Orioles host the Yankees, Cards taking on the Reds, Rangers, Athletics, Tigers in Houston, Rockies up against the Braves, and the Marlins head to Los Angeles. In the PWHL, you've got Boston into Montreal. That gets going at 5 o'clock. The Edmonton Elks announced that they've signed wide receiver Alexander Hollins to a deal. Spent the last 3 seasons with the BC Lions, appearing in 38 career games. And from the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers signing veteran wideout Robert Woods to a 1-year deal worth $2 million. The 2013 second-round pick out of USC from the last 2 seasons with the Houston Texans. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll get to 5 questions. Here comes the sun, and we'll be joined by Dallas Stars reporter Owen Newkirk. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
If you bleed orange and blue and you're not using the all-new Play Alberta Sports and Casino app, then you're missing out. It's the only online sportsbook with odds boosts on all Oilers games. And now, it's not just sports. Play the slots, hit the tables, buy lottery tickets, all in one app, all across Alberta. Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and use promo code GOAL for a $100 bonus. That's promo code GOAL!
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Spring style and road-ready performance are more affordable than ever. Now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease or finance a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save up to $5,000. Lease a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 4.9% and save $3,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save $2,000. Get ready for the open road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better services, only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Sean Brown.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take one for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I
Jason
drop
Gregor.
the heat?
Ready when you are.
Sean Brown.
Legacy.
Nice.
Boom.
Sports
I'm a
1440.ca.
musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium 1-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular price. The works, the meats. Pick your favorite specialty pizza and get even more delicious Papa John's to enjoy. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Explore Internet just got 10 times faster. 5G Ultra brings incredible speeds to homes in rural and small town Canada. Upgrade today at xplore.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team in Old Strathcona has special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. Declan Kruger is always running things. Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and Exa. We are live as well on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Oilers in the air. Well, they might have, no, they probably wouldn't land just yet. Maybe close. Getting into LA. They'll go, of course, for a dinner and then get set tomorrow to take on the Kings. As both teams stayed in Edmonton last night. Teams now, you look at sleep patterns, everything. Rarely do they leave after a game to fly home anymore, at least in the West. Eastern teams a little bit different because they're so close, but here they stayed. LA left a little bit earlier. Their press conference, I think, was at 9:30. Knobloch had his presser at 11. So by the time, after that, then they're leaving. I'm guessing departure time was, 12:30, 1 o'clock for the Oilers, and away they go. So they'd be pretty close to getting into LA right now. Speck will join us from there a little bit later on. Today, we got Kevin Woodley coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Lots more text to get to in our email inbox, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You'll need that number because we are going to play Here Comes the Sun right now. Your chance to qualify to win a $15,000 turnkey solar system for your home, or you can gift it to someone else. Now, there are some rules you need. You need to be a homeowner. You don't want to be a renter and giving it away because then they could just kick you out. Not good. Because Action wants you to save money, not just on the install, but all the money will be saved on your electricity bills for the foreseeable future. It's a huge package. It's just $15,000 for the install. We're not even mentioning all the money you're going to save year after year after year. You need to reside in the Edmonton area or the person that you're going to gift it to. Inside Edmonton or 50K, outside either direction, east, north, south, or west. Have newer shingles, 12 years or newer, and that's simply to save you money because if you have older ones and they put it on, then you got to take them off. You're talking way bigger expense for that. All right, so very simple, very easy. Today, because the Oilers won, on Friday was very easy, it was positive. So today, it's very simple for you. I'm assuming most of you watched the game because you're sports fans. Text in your name and the name of the player who scored the overtime winning goal last night. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Text us in our UL inbox. So there you go. 833-401-1440. Who scored the game-winning goal in overtime last night for the Edmonton Oilers? So there you go. Good luck, boys and girls. Good luck. Coming up, Owen Newkirk's going to join us, talk to the Stars and the Avs. There's only 2 games tonight. A little bit of a reprieve for you. And then the Oilers and the Kings, of course, will go tomorrow. This is a stretch where you got a few teams getting the extra day off in between games. So you have Lightning and Panthers, Avs and Stars. And then tomorrow, the Sens and the Leafs, the Hurricanes and the Devils, the Wild and the Golden Knights, also the Oilers and the LA Kings. So then the Capitals and the Canadiens, they're not playing now until Wednesday. So a little bit of a reprieve, extra day's rest for them. And the Blues and the Jets also will return to action on Wednesday night. No one's playoffs are over yet. The teams facing elimination will occur tomorrow. Will be the, second, because Ottawa was facing elimination down 3-0. But that's really the only team so far. But now it gets a little bit more desperate for some teams as the East. It's funny. The West, everybody's 2-2. So they're going to be all 4 series, at least 6 games. Then you have everybody else is 3-1 or 2-1 in the case of Tampa and Florida. They're the only one that has the opportunity to go 2-2. Montreal's down, Ottawa's down, New Jersey's down, which I'm not overly surprised by any of those. So, and we'll give you until 4:20 today, in case you're wondering. 4:20 to text in your name and who scored the overtime winner, and you'll get qualified. Well, then you're entered, and we'll pick a name, and you could qualify to win a $15,000 turnkey, which just means like everything, all the bells and whistles to get the solar for your home or somebody that you want to gift it to. You can. Hey, Greg's, any update on the Oil Kings head coaching search? When do you think that'll be announced? Well, Good question. I actually ran into Kurt Hill today, the GM of the Edmonton Oil Kings. They got the draft coming next week. So that's where his focus is right now. Now, he's obviously, there's when you have a job like that comes up, you get a lot of coaches that reach out originally to you who express interest. And he's got so far 25. By next week, probably have 30. So then out of those 30 applicants, then you look and say, okay, well, how many of them are serious ones we want to interview? And is there anybody who hasn't that we want to at least reach out to say, hey, are you interested? And away you go. And then he'll kind of get serious to break down and start looking at the head coaching candidates. And obviously going to want to interview. Usually for a job like that, there's probably at least 6 that get interviews, and some then go through the process a few times. So that's the plan. Nothing urgent. Nothing right away is going to happen for that. Now, speaking of the CHL and the Western Hockey League, oh my goodness, Gavin McKenna, 51-game point streak from the regular season to the playoffs, which is normally not, like normally, records like that don't get, tossed over. You have like a regular season one, and then you have a playoff one, but this one is all combined. Either way, it's pretty damn impressive. I don't think there's, you can't really debate about that. It is 51 games in a row. I don't care what league you're playing in. 51 games in a row, it's pretty impressive. So Gavin McKenna, and I'm telling you, all the scouts, all these teams are watching, all of the NHL scouts, lots of the NCAA programs are like, man, can we convince this guy to come play for us? We'll see. Meanwhile, the Medicine Hat Tigers would love nothing more than to have him stay there. And the WHL as a whole, because when Gavin McKenna comes to your town, there's going to be fans who are like, I want to go see him play because he's that special. He's that impressive of a player. Very good. So that's what's up there. The other news today that we haven't touched on a bit, the CFL draft, of course, goes tomorrow. The Elks do not have their pick because they used it basically in the dispersal draft. Last year, the big receiver that they took. What's that draft called again? Supplemental draft. Yeah. So in the supplemental draft, so they don't have a first rounder, but they got their other pick. Now, interesting news today for the Elks, because they got Hollins, who was a few years ago, of course, was a Western All-Star for the BC Lions, and he had a bonus of $75,000 that was due on January 30th by the BC Lions. This is Alexander Hollins. And what happened was BC, because when you have a bonus due, lots of teams will do this and they'll release a player before. So BC released him, but you can't release a player if he's hurt. And so on behalf of the CFLPA, they challenge it. You get an independent evaluator, and he looks and says, you know what? He was indeed still injured. You can't release. So he got his money. So the Lions had to pay him his $75,000 bonus. And then they were going to try to renegotiate a new contract. Didn't happen. The Elks swoop in and grab him. So that's it's kind of a good deal for them because he already got $75,000 from BC. That's not going to count on his contract cap this year. So the Elks probably get him at a lower hit. So you know what? They needed some receivers. They didn't want to pay Lewis the $300K or whatever he ended up signing with. They went Mathis was the guy, by the way, they got in the supplemental draft. But so look for Hollins to be one of their go-to guys. This year will come in. He'll get the opportunity. But the wide receiver position is kind of wide open. And you can come here and you can put up big numbers. It would be good. So, hey, Gregor, it looked like it was a high stick in the broadcast. Yeah, but the picture you're showing me, Trev, is when he's bent over, right? And so the high stick is usually they use the crossbar height. And so that's where I look the line. I talk to guys like, so if you're bent over, like, and I reach my stick up and my stick is above my shoulders, but I'm hunched over. If I stand up, it's not above my shoulders. And so that's the reason the orders, you got to remember, there's a reason why teams aren't challenging things today. Now, you have the opposite where the LA Kings challenge and you're like, what are you challenging for? Because the orders, if you would have seen the replay, you'd be like, why are they challenging? That's why they didn't challenge. It wasn't one that was going to be successful. And you don't want to give a team a free power play right after they scored a goal. I think you just saw what happened. Ask the LA Kings how that worked out. Because I'm flabbergasted by that challenge call. Because I'm like, what are they challenging? Like, No one was touching Kemper until the puck was there and Kane hit at the puck. And he didn't move Kemper. The puck's loose in the crease. You're allowed to hit it. So that was, oof. Now, and then Dennis Bernstein, we're going to have to get Dennis on the show, as head coach wasn't really happy about it because he's like, hey, why are you even asking this question, man? If Byfield gets it out, we're not even talking about it. But he didn't get it out. And you've been outscored big time in the third period. This is not an opinion. It's actual fact. You know how many goals the Oilers have in the third period? 11 in 4 games. If you scored 11 goals in 4 games, sometimes I'm like, hey, that's a pretty good stretch of goal. Not just in the third period, but 11 goals in the third period alone. It's 11 goals in 80 minutes. You're like, damn, that's pretty good. So how can he suggest that the third period struggles aren't real? It's like saying to the Oilers, hey, you know what, guys? You guys haven't given the puck up very much. You haven't gifted any goals. Imagine if we asked the coach that and he got upset. What are you talking about? We haven't gifted any goals. What are you, Gary Bettman now? Are you going to tell me that our games start right on time? Like, seriously. The numbers don't lie. Look at the shots, look at the chances, look at everything in the third period and obviously overtime for the Oilers. It's massively one-sided. Just like it's been one-sided to start the game for the Oilers. Now, game 3, they did get out to a lead. Good. And did you know that going into last night, the team who scored first over the last 4 years of these in this series was 19-2. Remember when the Oilers were down 3-0 in game 4, 2023? 3-0. Jack Campbell came in. And Edmonton ended up tying the game 3-3 in the second period. Then they gave up a goal in the third. Then they tied it, Evander Kane, with 3:02 to go. And then Zach Hyman won in overtime. That's the only game the Oilers won previously where they didn't score first until last night. And the Kings have only won once, also in 2023, when they didn't score first. You score first to these two teams, the Oilers are very good at it. They've only, because they are 12-1. And the LA Kings are now 7-2. Maybe it's even 7-3. No, 7-2 because the Oilers have won twice. So, yeah, because it's 19-3 right now in the 22 games that have been played over the last 4 years. When you score first, it still matters. The Oilers have at least been better at it, winning 2 of the 9 times that LA scores first. Well, LA has only scored won once of the 13 times that Edmonton has scored first. We'll come back. We'll announce the winner for Here Comes the Sun. Also, we'll hear from Owen Newkirk on a game and a series that's tied, but despite a lot of talent, has been rather quiet of a series. Next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features, including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds, you'll be ready for anything this truck month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and I love being Canadian. Despite what's happening south of the border, we've never been more united in our country, and that's a good thing. Know what else I love? The great outdoors in Canada.
We can wake up on the prairie and fall asleep under a Rocky Mountain sky.
That's right, Bob. Visitors will travel halfway around the world just to experience what we have in our own backyard. We're so lucky to live here, and that's why the good Lord created the RV, so you can spend more time in the great outdoors.
And the best RV is a used RV, right, Rick?
Every RV is a used RV, Bob. Unless it's still on the dealer's lot, it's used. All of the RVs at No Bull are used as well, which means they're already in Canada. Nobody can slap a tariff on a used RV. If it's here and it's used, that means it's Canadian. No surprises, no worries, just the best outdoor experience Canada has to offer.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Your cooperator's advisor can help find farm insurance that meets your specific needs, like the I know all 217 acres like the back of my hand plan. Talk to a local advisor today about how you can get personalized farm insurance from a company founded by farmers.
Looking for a local cooperator's advisor? Give Camrose Insurance Financial Solutions a call at 780-672-9251 and see the difference a personalized plan makes. Cooperators, investing in your future together.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan for all your residential water needs. Your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Hey, Adam, it's Connor here again. We just need to get you on with Jason for a few minutes, but that's okay.
427. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely day. And now remember, you have about, 3.5 hours to get out and vote. And you know what? The great part of voting is you get to choose. That's a great opportunity you have in life. Don't waste it. Don't be like, nah, I don't want to vote. Because I always say this, if you don't vote, then you never get to complain. You didn't vote. And also, if there's a line, I wouldn't complain about that either. Because living in a country where we have the opportunity to vote, we have the democratic right, you might not always like the result, but at least you had the opportunity. Be in a place where you're going to get to vote, they just tell you what to do, and a lot of times it's not great. So go there and vote, have fun, be friendly to the people that are working at the voting stations. I already got. I did the pre-voting last week. It was nice. Did it after work. Kind of got in there, in and out. No problem. I think it was like 10 minutes. Everybody's super friendly. So, way to go. Hopefully, enjoy it. It's a great thing to do. Now, here comes the sun. Brought to you by Action Electrical. A $15,000 turnkey solar system is up for grabs, and our qualifier today, Connor Halley.
Adam.
Congratulations, my man. How you doing?
Oh, doing amazing.
Oh, there you go. You're in. I like it. Almost as exciting as the Oilers' victory last night. Hey, almost as exciting.
Well, not quite as exciting, but yeah, we'll say almost.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, like I'm sure you were fist pumping as much when Connor called you as you were when Draisaitl scored, right?
I might have been a little bit more excited for Draisaitl.
So if Adam, feel free to lie, okay? Feel free to lie. But no, it's all good. You did get the right answer. We actually had a few people with the wrong answer, which is unfortunate. But stay on the line. Cons will get all your information. And now you can keep it or you can gift it to someone. It's your choice. And you'll get a $15,000 turnkey solar system. Best of luck, courtesy of Action Electrical.
Amazing. Thank you.
I like his honesty. It's true. Like, hey, now if he won it, that might be a different phone call. Now it's just qualifying, right? Like you're step in, now you got like a pretty good chance, but it's not 100%. So maybe we'll have to, when we talk to the actual winner, we'll do the draw on Friday, May 23rd. And then way you go. So good luck with that. Now let's continue on. Let's get to our playoff report brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. Truck month continues on at GMC. Get a $5,000 cash purchase credit on a 2025 Sierra HD model. See more at gmccanada.ca. As we go to Dallas from DLLS Sports, Owen Newkirk joins us once again. And Owen, it's down to a best of three like every series in the Western Conference. The Stars are up 2-1. They got shut out in game 4. And I guess, the big question in Dallas is it Mikko time soon? Now they're going to need some of their big guns and really their offense to get going here. Only 7 goals through 4 games.
Yeah. And that's, in this kind of a situation with the Stars is they are looking for a little bit more offense, but they don't care if they win 1-0, 2-1. They just want to win. There are teams, and I don't know if I'm going to throw that accusation at Colorado, but there are teams out there that like to win with some style. Now, during the regular season, the Stars were one of the higher scoring teams in the NHL, and so there was definitely some style there. But this is an experienced roster, even with the youth that they have in their group. They've gone to the conference final for the last 2 years in a row, trying to make it 3 this year. As you guys well know, we had a nice little dance partner last year, and they know that it doesn't matter if you lose a game 4-0 like they did in game 4 or 5-1 in the first game, which was closer than that score indicated, or if you win a couple of games in overtime, it counts the same. It's like match play in golf. You can quadruple bogey. It doesn't matter. It only counts as 1. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. So yes, Mikko Rantanen, the Stars want to see more from him, but he's not the only one. They need more from Wyatt Johnston. They need more from Matt Duchene. And honestly, they just have to get the lead. They have not been playing out in the fresh, clean air. They've been dealing with the Avalanche wake a lot or tied. This series has been tied for a really large amount of it, but they have not spent a lot of time defending and playing with a lead. And I'm sure they would love to have that tonight.
Oh, yeah, without question. So when we look in, Rantanen has no points. Duchene has none. Johnson, I think, has a few assists, but no goals from any of them. How much of that is a credit to the Avalanche, or is it just simply, hey, your best guys, hey, they score all year long. They got to figure out how to score in the playoffs?
I think a little bit of both. And the first thing I would say is Mackenzie Blackwood has been very good. Okay. Better than I think some people expected just because he hadn't had any postseason experience. But one of the things that really stood out to me with Blackwood was he still, even on a bad San Jose team this year, had a really impressive save percentage. So he was still getting the job done as far as making a lot of saves, even on a team that the win-loss record wasn't there. Then he goes to Colorado. He had pretty much the same save percentage. They just won a lot more hockey games because that roster is in a completely different phase in life right now than the Sharks are. So I think Blackwood has been excellent. There's been a couple of games where the Stars could have had a lot more chances, and that's not game 4, though. The 4th game, the Stars, they kind of got caved in, especially it was pretty good. It was a good first period. It was close. They gave up a shorthanded goal, and I think things turned after that. Then they gave up the power play goal. Then they got caved in the second period, and they just weren't the same team. So I think some of it, you have to give credit to the Avalanche because they've defended very well, and at times their goaltender has been phenomenal. But they are by far, here's the thing, Jason, before this series started, the Stars went into the end of the regular season winless in their last 7, and then they lost game 1. So they lost 8 straight hockey games. And people that at the deadline, when they acquired Mikko Rantanen, were picking Dallas to win the Stanley Cup. They're the favorites. Then we fast forward a month and a half, and everybody is picking the Avalanche to beat the Stars. And look, Colorado is a really good team, but there is not a single team in the NHL that is lacking a flaw. Right? Everybody has warts. Everybody has things they want to do better with. There are things that can be exploited. And the Stars feel like for a big chunk of the series, they've done what they need to do, except the puck hasn't gone in the net with the frequency that they were used to in the regular season. And you know what? You've got to go to the hard areas to do that. In the 2 wins, they went to the net. In game 4, especially, and a little bit in game 1, I don't think they got those interior chances as much as they should have.
how has Tyler Seguin obviously scored a huge goal, the overtime winner. Has he looked better than you expected coming off that injury?
Frankly, no, but maybe I'm an optimist. I thought he was going to look about the same, especially playing with Matt Duchene and Mason Marchment. They have an insane chemistry. They've had it for now a couple of seasons, and it's just almost a natural fit, those three. I was disappointed with Sagan's noticeability or lack thereof in game 4. He was one, and it wasn't just on Tyler Seguin. I'm not here to just tell Tyler, who I talked to this morning, I'm not going to just turn around and say, boy, you were junk in the other night, because I think a lot of players were underperforming. But I do, if you ask me how's this series been, well, I thought progressively better. And then I think everybody took a step back in game 4, but I'm not really surprised with his performances, because Tyler is not the same player he was when he came into the league with Boston. He has gone through let's just say the trenches of injuries and surgeries. He's had knee, Achilles severing. That was all the way back against Tampa in 2015-16. He's had both hips done, but like another guy we're used to in Dallas, Joe Pavelski, he figured out how to continue to be relevant and stick, and he still continues to do that. And you know what? Jamie Benn's done the same thing. So Tyler's game right now is not built on blazing speed like it once was, and he's just a really smart guy, and so that part doesn't surprise me.
Owen Newkirk joins us talking the Dallas Stars. Of course, game 5 tonight in Dallas. That series even at 2. Is there any injuries? Anybody that is out who's played or coming back in for tonight for either team?
So the only change for either team is one for Dallas. Colorado, not surprising. They're going to trot out the same group after they won 4-0. It's sort of like no notes, just keep getting better. For the Stars, Oscar Beck is back in. He missed game 4. He was a game time decision the other night in Denver. He had, according to Pete DeBoer, a oblique strain in game number 3, which was a while ago because we had a couple of days between games 3 and 4 out in Colorado. But Beck actually had to have what Pete called it frozen up, or he said you had to freeze it up. So I don't know if that was a numbing or whatever the medical procedure it was. When you pull an oblique in hockey, Jason, you know very well, your core strength is very important for everything you do. Skating, playing physically, shooting. He practiced Friday. He didn't play Saturday in game 4. He's back in tonight. I'm sure he's at some percentage above 50, we'll say, but he's going to play. Maverick Bourque is going to come out of the lineup, and that's the only change. No Miro Heiskanen. Jason Robertson continues to be on the mend, but not really anywhere close yet for the Stars. And then, of course, Nils Lundqvist out for the season, but then we heard right as the playoffs were about to start, he had a shoulder surgery that if the Stars went long enough, there's a chance he could rejoin, but I think that would be like late in the Stanley Cup final kind of thing. And we're getting a little ahead of ourselves talking about that.
Special teams has been exactly even. Both teams are 3 for 14 on the power play so far through, so 3.5 power plays per team per game. Each team decent, kind of average 21%. And then the penalty kills 78.6 for either one. When you look though at the special teams, is one team creating way more and just not getting looks, or is it pretty even as the numbers would suggest as far as the special teams go top to bottom?
Boy, it depends on which fan base you ask, right? Because depending on the call, because the other night, Mason Marchment was called for a penalty where he it appeared no, it was the Cale Makar one, the double minor one. It was against Brock Nelson in game 3, and not much. Actually, that was game 2. I think it was in Dallas. Yes. And once you saw the replay, I mean, he hit his stick right into the bridge of the nose. Nelson's bleeding. It was a pretty obvious call. I think it's frustrating because, again, the intent's not there. He's trying to lift his stick. He misses and he catches Nelson in the face, but that's the rule. No, in game 4, he connected with Makar, who was down on one knee, and kind of it appeared to catch him in the face. The question was, did he actually make contact, or did Makar kind of embellish a little bit? It's hard to tell. Here's the thing. Mason Marchment is on the referee's list, right? He does not get the benefit of the doubt because he's been called and fined for embellishment before, which means he's been warned before then, and he plays on that line. Sometimes he draws penalties and does a great job for the Stars in that regard. Sometimes he takes them, and some of them are more palatable than others. And that's the Mason and Marchman experience. We call him a very high event player. Something happens, good or bad, it's rarely indifferent with him. And he's a great forechecker, but there are times where he'll take a trip or something where you just go, you didn't need to do that. As far as the balance of special teams, it felt like the Stars penalty kill was starting to get to Colorado. Now that changed a little bit in game 4. They got one there, but Essa Lindell anchors that PK. Obviously, your goaltender with Jake Ottinger has to be a major part of that as well. It feels like Dallas has, for the most part, forced Nate McKinnon to get wider than he wants to be. They all know where he wants to set up. It's sort of what we call the Ovechkin's office. And Dallas is kind of marking him and basically putting a guy and say, we're not going to let you score from that. So you're going to have to find a different way. For the most part, that's where, again, I don't know with how Dallas felt after the way they played game 4, if you take much stock in any of that and just say that was just a poor execution night for everybody. Because this was a quote from this morning from Pete DeBoer, Jason, that I thought was the most interesting. He said, both teams have a formula they know they can win this series with. It's the question is who gets to that game first and who sticks with it the longest.
Yeah. Now, Nathan McKinnon, he has 4 goals in this series. He's been an impact player. Cale Makar, statistically, offensively, has been quite quiet. He only has 2 assists. He has no goals. Have the Stars, done anything specific that you've seen to limit Makar's ability to impact the game offensively?
We analyzed that the first 3 games of the series where he did look a little off. And the answer is, I don't think so. Now, the Stars might say otherwise. I think Cale Makar just wasn't executing, wasn't playing as well. And especially game 1, missed the net. He had 10 shot attempts. I think only 1 actually made it to the net. Had a couple of great scoring opportunities in that game and sailed them high, wide, and just not very Cale Makar-like. Game 4, if you're a Stars fan, you start to get a little nervous. The anxiety goes up because he started to look like Cale Makar. And Jason, you've seen it plenty of times, I'm sure. It's when he starts to get the puck in your offense, in his offensive zone, your defensive zone, and he starts moving his feet and he's circling. It's almost like a shark circling his prey, and he's just starting to look for those seams. That's what he looked like in game 4. And if he keeps playing like that, that's going to be a really good sign for Colorado.
Yeah, well, if they get him, like there's things for both sides here. And I guess lastly, Owen, any update on Heiskanen? Any chance he plays in these final 3 games of this series?
A chance? Absolutely. Will he? That's really hard to say. He is close. He skated this morning. He looks fine. Morning skates, no contact. So there's really nothing you can glean from that. And it's not a particularly intense practice anyway, right? It's a morning skate. They have 2 days between tonight's game 5 and Thursday's game 6 in Denver. I would imagine if they do the same thing that they did between games 3 and 4, that they'll have an off day tomorrow, and then they'll have a practice on Wednesday and then fly Wednesday after the practice, probably early in the afternoon, back out to Denver. Pretty much cookie cutter for what they would do on a road trip. That one could be interesting because if he goes through a full team practice, a non-optional, none of these at this time of the year are super intense, but this is about as much as he'll get. And he gets through that, he could be in contention for game 6. I wonder, Jason, though, if the outcome of this game tonight makes a difference, because I think the longer the Stars can push Heiskanen's return date back, the better. Right. And because when he comes back, we talked about this in our post-game show the other night. I mean, Miro Heiskanen is in your lineup. He's not playing 8 minutes. He's going to play 25 plus. You're not going to leave him off the ice. Any superstar player has that impact. They're not going to come out and test it and play 5-10 minutes. So if they win tonight and take a 3-2 series lead, I don't think you see Miro in game 6. Maybe they do, and maybe I'm completely wrong. But my hunch says that this is a long-term thing. And we've been kind of debating this now for the better part of 2 weeks, ever since we heard there was even a chance that he could come back for the first round of the playoffs. This is a long-term situation with Miro Heiskanen. As much as you want to win this series and you want to beat the Avalanche, and look, their expectation level bar is at Stanley Cup final or bust, really. You do not want to sacrifice Miro Heiskanen's long-term health and ability to play because you rushed it back too early.
Fair point. Well, Owen, thanks so much for this. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll be watching as only 2 games go. So everybody's like, hey, I need my fix. So you get a double dose tonight. Awesome. Thanks for your time.
Well, thank you, Jason. And I was up late last night watching that finality of the Game 4 in Edmonton. Man, what a scene out there. We've witnessed it firsthand from the Stars' perspective. And it's pretty cool that all 4 Western Conference series are 2-2 because the emotional roller coaster has been all over the map. Thanks for having me today.
You betcha. That's Owen Newkirk joining us out of Dallas. So the Stars and the Avalanche. So, Heiskanen, a possibility. That would be a big addition, man. Like, are you kidding me? Oh. Even if you bring him in limited minutes, although I'm guessing if you're going to dress him, then I remember coach say, hey, the guy's either he's ready to play or he's not. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And that's just how it goes. Like Thomas Harley, Esa Lindell, Cody Ceci, Lybushkin, their top 4. And then how about our good friend of the show, Alex Petrovic, who plays the whole year in the American League, 2nd year in a row. They call him up to play in the playoffs. I love it. He's playing 14 minutes a night for the Dallas Stars. A quick break. We'll come back. 5 questions on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app, right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
Is it Riverside Motorsports? No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong. Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe. And Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now, for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal with your choice of a Big Mac or a 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. A Minecraft movie meal, available now at your local McDonald's. See it in theaters April 4th. Meal available for a limited time while supplies last at participating Canadian restaurants.
When you see big discounts on a vehicle, you think last year's model, right? Not at St. Albert Dodge. They are continuing to knock 10% off the sticker price of every single 2025 Ram 1500 truck on the lot. We're talking this year's model. Motor Trend's Truck of the Year with a hot new interior and drivetrain options with increased horsepower and better fuel economy. The 2025 Ram 1500, 10% off and over 100 to choose from. That's how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Explore Internet just got 10 times faster. 5G Ultra brings incredible speeds to homes in rural and small town Canada. Upgrade today at xplore.ca.
Because we're tough in the North. Mark your calendars for the DeWalt Tough in the North sales event. One day only at Prime Fasteners and Tools, Tuesday, April 29th. Join Prime Fasteners and Tools for exclusive one-day only DeWalt promos, live demos, and awesome giveaways. Come check out the latest tools and accessories from DeWalt, Stanley, and Boston. All on sale at Prime Fasteners and Tools in Edmonton. DeWalt's Tough in the North sales event, Tuesday, April 29th at Prime Fasteners and Tools, 12304 184th Street.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantorg. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Declan Kruger with you on a lovely Monday afternoon. Oiler fans, just think about 3 days ago, you're so nervous at this time. Oh, geez, what? Oh, man, the Oilers could be out. They could be swept. And we did talk about it in the opening segment. And many of you, be it honest, admitted that last night you thought, and you said it, they're done. We had people text in your text chats with friends. You're like, the Oilers, their season's over. But now they're tied 2-2. And anybody's series now. Anybody's series. Hey, guys, can I make a comment about the McDavids and how nice it is to see them in the stands enjoying the environment with the regular folk, not in a suite, from Mike? Okay, well, there you go, Mike. His parents usually sit in the seats, do they not?
His dad, for sure. He's been spotted like plenty of times just in the crowd.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't you? Like, I don't know, most fans aren't going to, bug the dad. I would say, like, I don't know how many fans, maybe most do, that would recognize, the parents of a player. Some might. Not sure. See.
He's probably more likely to be bought a beer, I think, than bugged.
Probably, I would
Thank
think
you
so.
for creating him.
Yeah, very possible. Very possible. Let's get to 5 questions now. Brought to you by The Brick, where you got a few more days, end of the month. You can save up to $1,150 off sectionals, $1,000 off of big screen TVs, and how about 25% off bedroom and dining furniture at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, big wins for the Oilers over the weekend, and now best of 3 series. What was the biggest positive you saw from the group in their games Friday and Sunday?
Well, number one for me was that the Oilers limited the gift goals. It didn't completely eradicate it, but they reduced it. And I said, if they can reduce that and their special teams can wake up, well, just look at the difference, guys. So their power play was 0% after the first 2 games. It's now 40% in the series, right? Like, the power play has been great. As the penalty kill, I know it allowed 2 goals, but to me, it looked like it was way better, even in game 3, that it was starting to trend in the right direction. So they changed a lot of things that needed to be changed and needed to be improved. And to me, that's just a big difference. But I'll go with mainly that they've reduced the gifts of goals against.
Yeah, I mean, something that stood out to me, I guess the resiliency battling back into games. And a quick shout out in overtime. Podkolzin, Janmark Arvidsson, and then Kane, Nuge, and Hyman. I thought those lines were fantastic. Just wearing down the LA Kings, keeping it in their end, relentlessness, and then you send the big dogs right back out there. I thought those 2 lines were really good despite not scoring a goal. Question number 2 for you. Of all the teams left in the playoffs, so all of them, which team do you think is under the most pressure?
Good question. Winnipeg Jets. I'll say the Jets. They finished first, President's Trophy winner. The goalie's probably going to win the Vezina, and they are getting shell-shocked. So, yeah, I will go with the Jets.
Yeah, tough not to go that way. And there's the thoughts of, ghosts pass for Connor Halley in the previous playoffs, where he's kind of been lit up. He's chased in 2 straight. Things are going pretty good, I would have thought. And then 2 games in St. Louis, and it's going the opposite direction. So that would be one for sure. And just for fun, I'll say the LA Kings. It seems like there's a little bit of panic creeping into them. They've had leads. They've had chances to shut these games down. And, they've let them off the hook. So I think maybe the LA Kings feeling a little bit of pressure because starting off 2-0 against a team that's beat you 3 straight years, it's got to be a little tough. Question number 3, Mike Sullivan out in Pittsburgh as their head coach. Where do you think he will end up next if he chooses to be? And who do you think the Penguins should look to hire?
Well, they're going to do a big search. I was actually discussing this with Frank on our pod earlier this morning about who are the top candidates. I think no question that Sullivan, I think it's Boston or New York is probably where he's going to go, because currently there's 7 vacancies in the NHL. You got Anaheim, and you have Chicago, and you have Seattle. And then you have Philly and Pittsburgh. the Rangers and Boston. And then, they got the Vancouver Canucks who might be there and the New York Islanders who have a new GM. And then maybe one of the 16 teams, because we've seen playoff teams who don't win and don't have success. They get suddenly someone's like, hey, you know what? You're out. Right? Like people have already said, what if the LA Kings lose? Will Jim Hiller lose his job for that challenge? Like, I don't know. He just got a new contract 1 year in. But I will say the Penguins job is fascinating to me. Like I ranked, and if I include the Islanders and the Canucks, let's just hypothetically say, because the Canucks, we don't know who their coach is at this moment. It's kind of up in the air. The Penguins would be like what? 6 out of 9 as far as where you'd want to go if you were a coach who had a choice. Penguins might be near the bottom, man. Like, where are they going? Sidney Crosby's had 2 great seasons and they missed the playoffs. How are they improving? So, yeah, I don't know what the Penguins are going to do, to be honest. They'll probably go get an experienced coach, but a retread. And Solomon, I think he's going to go to the Rangers or the Bruins.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Bruins just because he's a Massachusetts guy from the Boston area, if the job's hired. And I'm not going to say Jay Woodcroft. Let's say Rick Tocchet, former Penguin, goes back there, spent a few years there. We'll see what happens. Question number 4 for you. Was there an NFL draft class over the weekend from a team that stood out to you?
Well, it stood out because it's rare to draft 2 quarterbacks. So I'll say the Cleveland Browns. Although, little fun fact for you. Do you remember when Washington took 2 quarterbacks? Right? They took RG3 and Kirk Cousins I think it was a 4th rounder though.
Yep.
And both ended up starting. Now RG3 got hurt. So it is the most important position. And I was kind of surprised by the first quarterback they took. It was a little surprised to me. And I'll be honest, I didn't see Sanders play enough, but some people loved him. Others were like, well, I'm not too sure. So, to his credit, he did admit a little bit that maybe, he was a little bit too cocky, like turning down interviews for teams. I'm like, what? Like anybody outside the top 5 doesn't interview him? Like, what are you doing? So I think that's a little bit of a humbling experience, a little bit of a learning experience. So I will say Cleveland just because you don't see a team take 2 quarterbacks within, the rounds 3 and 5 very often.
Yeah, there's drafts stood out to me because I really liked it, but a little bit of redundancy taking 2 quarterbacks. They took 2 running backs as well, but all good players. I think Mason Graham was a good pick, and then getting Fannin in the 3rd round. Shedeur Sanders, I've said it a few times. I'm like you, maybe not as high on him as other people, but in the 5th round, that is good value. So I think they did a really good job, and I hate to say it, but the Vegas Raiders, I mean, they were kind of the flip side. They had a ton of picks, and I thought they did a really good job of bringing in players. They got a guy, JJ Pegus from Mississippi. He's the defensive tackle, but I believe they used him in goal line situations. He can be fun to watch. I think that one's an interesting one. As much as I hate to say it, I think the Raiders had a really good draft. Final question for you, Gregor. Over the weekend on social media, there was a question that was asked, and this comes in mostly from Declan Kruger. Could 1,000 dedicated men or humans beat a gorilla in a battle? They took it to ChatGPT, which said yes, but it would come as a big loss to the humans. They could probably lose a lot of people.
No, it was 100, right?
100, yes.
Yeah.
So do you think 100 humans could take down a gorilla? And if so, what do you think the minimum amount of humans it could do it would be?
Well, which humans?
Oh, they got to be dedicated. That was the question.
Yeah, well, what does dedicated mean? Like, you can be dedicated and stupid. That doesn't mean that you're, or you could be dedicated and not be strong, right? And like, man, you if you're gonna do it, you have to. Like, the thing is, like, how do you plan to take down a gorilla? Right? Like, you can say, okay, guys, like Bob, you come in here and you jump on him, and then like some basically almost, I think, if you're fighting a silverback gorilla, I'm assuming the first few guys who volunteer to go at him first, they're basically saying, I'm dead. Yes. Right? Because his strength, one cuff, you're done. So, especially when an animal feels like it's cornered. Now, are these people like, do they have guns or is this just bare hands?
Bare hands, yes.
Wow. Bare hands are going to take down a gorilla? Like, I guess if they just overpowered them in weight, but man, you read the stories about how strong those guys are. Like, because first of all, Cons, let's say, we get 10 or 15, they come in the first wave and they all jump on them simultaneously because you'd have to time it, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're all coming here. And what if he spins quickly this way and then that way? And like, I don't know, I have no idea how many could take it down. I can tell you right now, I'm not dedicated. I'd be like, what am I doing this for? Now, I guess if all of a sudden we're in the wild and now there's been an apocalypse and it's like we need food and I got to kill the gorilla or starve. Well, now I got a different situation on my hands. Then it's like, well, we either eat him or we're not eating anything. So I guess then I'd be committed because now it's cock and life or death. But in the world I'm living in right now, I can just go to the grocery store and get food. I don't need to fight a gorilla. So I'm not fighting a gorilla. But 100 people, I'm guessing it's people that are in good shape, but you can be in good shape and not know how to fight a gorilla. I don't know if anybody's prepared to fight a gorilla. So I still think the gorilla's going to win. I think there's going to be lots of casualties.
I'm with you. Like, I'm just watching some of these silverback gorillas. Like, they're a lot of power coming through, and they start swinging. Even if you come at him with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 men, I think he can take them all down with one swipe. So I'm team gorilla on this one. No matter how dedicated these guys are, when it's just your hands, I think this gorilla is going to win this challenge. But an interesting debate because there's a lot of guys. Like, remember, I think I asked you before, like, do you think you could land a plane if you had to? And like the overwhelming majority of men were like, yeah, we could do that one. Some guys think they could get in on this and do it, which just to me seems ridiculous. Like, he's going to mess you up. If he gets his hands on you, you're dead.
Yeah. Like just the human neck is not built to just take a club from them, right? Like, to have their hand out and just like, no thanks. I wouldn't be dedicated. I would. Anybody out there want to try? Good luck to you. Good luck to you. Hey, boys, what if you just have rocks? So you're going to pelt them with rocks first? Okay.
But that's not part of the question.
Oh, so you're not allowed to use...
It's bare hands only. Hand-to-hand combat. With weapons, like, that's what gives humans the edge, right?
Yeah.
We're smarter, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They're unpredictable out there, though.
Yeah. So, yikes. Just after 5 o'clock, let's get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. And Truck Month continues. Right now, GMC gets 0% financing for 72 months on a 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. See more at gmccanada.ca.
The Sports 1440 update.
Just 2 games tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. You got the Lightning and Panthers meeting in Sunrise. That gets going shortly. Tampa trails that series 2-1. And then tonight at 7:30, Stars and Avs meeting in Dallas. That series tied at 2 games apiece. Off the ice, Pittsburgh Penguins and head coach Mike Sullivan agreeing to part ways today, with GM Kyle Dubas saying it was time for change. In the association tonight, 2 games at 5:30. The Cavs in Miami taking on the Heat. Cleveland leading 3-0. Then at 8 o'clock, Golden State Warriors look to take a 3-1 series lead over the Houston Rockets. Good news for Warriors fans. Jimmy Butler expected to make a return to the lineup. And tough news for the Milwaukee Bucks. His guard Damian Lillard has reportedly suffered a torn Achilles. With that, he would likely be out for a significant portion of next season, if not the entire season. Major League Baseball, right now you got the Orioles and Yankees scoreless. Mets crushing the Nationals 19-5 in the bottom of the 9th. Twins have a 4-0 lead over the Guardians, and the Cards up on the Reds early 1-0 midway through the second. Later tonight, Rangers, Athletics, Tigers take on the Astros, Rockies host the Braves, and the Marlins in Los Angeles for a meeting with the Dodgers. In the PWHL, Boston and Montreal, that game's going to get going in a couple of minutes here. The Edmonton Elks have signed wide receiver Alexander Collins. Collins appeared in signing with the green and gold after spending the last 3 seasons with the BC Lions, appearing in 38 games. And the Pittsburgh Steelers signing veteran wide receiver Robert Woods to a 1-year deal worth $2 million. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Now until April 30th, The Brick is saving you more. Save up to 60% off Canadian-made sofas when you buy the matching love cedar chair. Save up to 40% off select mattresses. And when you use your Flexity card, get equal monthly payments and 0% interest for 60 months on furniture and mattress purchases. Plus, you're automatically entered to win a $5,000 brick shopping spree. And the more you buy, the more you save, up to an additional $1,200 off select major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features, including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this Truck Month. Ask your GMC people for details.
Just after 4 o'clock.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune.
Back.
Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you, Declan Crooks.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Service that goes the distance, just like your cart should. Keep your golf cart running at its best with expert
Facebook
service
X.
from the golf cart people. From regular maintenance to upgrades like LED lighting, lift kits, or sound systems. Our certified techs bring experience and attention to detail, using genuine parts for a smooth, reliable ride. Whether you're boosting performance or just need a tune-up, trust the team Alberta has counted on since 1997. The Golf Cart People. Book now at golfcartpeople.com.
Join the fight this Saturday night. Hi, Todd James, your ride captain for the Edmonton Motorcycle Ride for Dad, raising funds and awareness in the battle against prostate cancer. Once again, Blackjack's Roadhouse in Nisku is hosting our kickoff fundraiser, a night of nostalgia with Canada's tribute to ABBA, Arrival, plus silent and live auctions, 50-50 and more. All money raised goes to this June's ride in support of the Prostate Cancer Fight Foundation. See you Saturday. Tickets just $35 on the Ride for Dad Edmonton Facebook page.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor. Sherbrooke is a house of curiosities, a mom and pop, a curated experience that is equal parts wine tastings and 2 forests from May long. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock, early Mondays, you make your way home, probably in a good mood if you're an Oilers fan. You're going home from work on Friday, a little tentative, a little unsure, excited about your plans, where you're going to watch the game. Maybe you're going to the game, you're going to the Moss Pit, wherever you're going. Now you're like, whew, can't wait for Game 5. Game 6, of course. Game 5 tomorrow night will be 8 o'clock start. Game 6 to be determined, the start time anyway, because it'll depend on some of the other games, but most likely 8 o'clock. Not 100%, but pretty good chance. Right now, because there's you've got Thursday, the Leafs and the Sens are playing. So now they might not be playing. They could be out, but the Stars are playing. So there's 3 West games for sure. So who knows? Maybe the games in Edmonton, you might get a 7 o'clock start. If Toronto wins against Ottawa, I could see that. It's a possibility. So we'll see. Let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Female Super League, designed to elevate female youth hockey. The FSL provides a platform for U12 and U14 players to develop and improve their skills. Learn more at femalesuperleague.com. And of course, in conjunction with that big announcement from PWHL expanding to Western Canada, just more opportunities for young girls to have the dream to play professional hockey. As we welcome in from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com, Kevin Woodley joins us as always. Woodley, how you doing?
I am doing better than the goalies in the National Hockey League, my friend. It has not been a great start for the goalie union. I think we've only got 6 or 7 guys out of the entire playoffs that are actually above expected right now. So, hey, I'm doing better than those guys.
Well, hey, buddy, that's how it goes. Go now. Let's start with the big one. Right? It's funny, on the day that the Vezina Trophy gets announced, and you got Vasilevsky, and you got Kemper, and you got Hellebuyck, and it's based on the regular season. It's great. But, man, Hellebuck's numbers, you're like, ooh. He's like -8 when it comes to goal saves above expected and other ones. So give me your thoughts on what you're seeing in Winnipeg.
-8 for Hellebuyck, worst in the playoffs. -4 for Kemper, third worst. -2.25 for Vasilevsky, sixth worst. Sandwiched in there with him are Linus Altmark making 8.25, and Aiden Hill, who just signed a 6-year, six per contract extension. So guys that are under contract for a long time and signed to pretty good deals near the bottom of the playoff rankings. Listen, I don't have a full explanation for Connor Hellebuyck's start to the playoffs. I'm not going to pretend to have all the answers, but for sure he's given up 14 goals so far, and nine of them are a combination of screens and broken plays. So you've heard me talk about this before with Connor. He is the best goalie in the world when he's on his game at reading plays and anticipating. And so what do you do if you're playing the best goalie at those things? You take away his eyes with screens and you create chaos in front of him. And so it's funny because we've talked about Stuart Skinner and that narrow butterfly and how it limits some of the lateral recoveries. Like, Connor Hellebuyck is not a physically gifted goaltender beyond the size. Like, he is not exceptionally quick laterally. He has a similarly narrow butterfly to Stuart Skinner. So when you make him go east-west in scrambles, you have limitations to what he can do. What makes him so good is his patience on his edges and his ability to replay. And right now, they have him not seeing play very often with the way they're managing screens. And then when it hits something, it's not always just straight in, or it's not straight in off a screen. It's the chaos in front of him. And that's very unpredictable. It's hard to read, and it's been hard for him to solve. So, and I'm not, at the same time, like, don't make any mistake here. Like, even in those metrics, in terms of his results against broken plays, his results against screens, those in the regular season were a lot better than what we're seeing right now. So I don't know if that's just the Blues are doing a better job of the Jets at winning those battles in front of the net, or a combination of the two. But clearly there's another level for him to get to, as well as the team. And one of the things that I think we're seeing is maybe a little bit of hesitancy in his game, a lack of patience in his game. I mean, I don't go with the play deep thing. Like, I don't think it's like, he's playing deep. He's way deeper than, because he plays deep all the time. If you look at the goalies that had the best regular seasons, including Dustin Wolf at 6 foot, they play deep. They don't play outside their crease. So I don't fully buy that one. But, there was that goal in the first game. It was a point shot, I think, Kyrou, where he backs up.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people looked at that and they said, he's retreating in his crease. But if you look at it, he actually drops his right leg, like flattens out his right side. So he's not even square to the shot. And to me, if you go back and rewind that, you will see Jake Neighbors cutting back door. And I think that is Connor being a step ahead of the play, anticipating Neighbors coming downhill to his right and flattening out to prepare a push. Well, that's the problem. If you're so far ahead of it that the other team is actually doing something other than what you expect, that's the fine line between anticipation and cheating. Look at the Robert Thomas goal yesterday. Now, you can start with Kyle Connor with a brutal turnover off the wall and a rush chance one way, creates a rush chance the other way, and then he's the one who's late back to pick up his guy in Thomas. But as Thomas comes in on what becomes basically a breakaway as the trailer, nobody picks him up. Anybody has a chance to go rewind that. Hellebuyck actually shifts to his left, anticipating a glove side shot before Thomas cuts back to Hellebuck's right the other way and pretty much puts it, may have gone off DeMello, but puts it into an open net. Now, that's a play at speed. That is Connor Hellebuyck anticipating a shot to his left that never comes. And that is the fine line between having patience and going early on things. And right now, it is a very fine line, and he's the best in the world at it, at least in the regular season. Right now, he's on the wrong side of it more often. Well, not more often than not, more often than the Jets can survive with.
Okay. Yeah, it's obviously an area that, hey, there's lots of things. It's never just the goalie, but hey, sometimes it is the goalie. You can't always excuse the goalie, especially one who's that good. Like if you're a goalie who's never had great numbers and then suddenly doesn't have great numbers, I don't see why you get mad at the goalie like that. But if you have a goalie who's had unreal numbers, you're looking and saying, hey, now hey, especially when it's 3 years in a row, Kevin, 3 years in a row that you go 60 games, great, terrible in the playoffs, 60 games, great, terrible in the playoffs, 60 games, great, terrible in the playoffs. There's one consistent there, terrible in the playoffs.
Well, and the other thing I would say is last year, I remember going through the numbers and the things that the Jets did really well in the regular season in terms of insulating that environment, allowing him to play to his strengths, they all evaporated in the playoffs. Like slot line plays and screens, they were amongst the top teams in the regular season, finished 16 out of 16 in terms of allowing those types of chances in the playoffs. So it was Hellebuck and it was the environment in front of him absolutely creating against Colorado. Those types of chances are going on him right now. I do think they have to be better winning battles in front of him on those broken plays where he's susceptible to him, where he's struggling with right now. But at the end of the day, he's got an expected save percentage of .908. It's one of the highest in the playoffs so far. So, goalie's got to mix in a save too. And so I'll call it both ways, Jason, right? Like I know everybody thinks I'm strictly the union guy and they're going to take away my union card. So it's all goalies all the time. When the numbers said last year that a lot of it, what was going on in front of him, I said so. This year, there's some of that, but not to the same degree we saw last season. He's got to find his game.
Kevin Woodley from Ingo Magazine and NHL.com joins us. What do you make of well, let's just go with Pickard and kind of what you saw. Like, obviously, he had a much better environment than Skinner played in, but significantly, actually. I think you were telling me the numbers. But also, he made some pretty sound saves when needed to be. He wasn't called upon to make like Darcy Kemper on Draisaitl save in the second period, but he played pretty well. And I thought he made most of the saves he should have made.
Yeah, I mean, game 3 to 4, there were some differences there. I saw Chris Knobloch talk about between games about the goaltending difference and kind of something that you and I have alluded to all season, the discrepancy in the environment, the discrepancy in the expected save percentage and how maybe this team, for whatever reason, plays a little better in front of Calvin. And the numbers are there. Again, tiny sample, but through 2 games apiece, Stuart Skinner's expected save percentage is 872. Calvin Pickard's is 904. Like that's a 32-point difference. And so some of that is being at home, matchups, the Oilers playing not perfect games, but better than they did in LA in terms of not getting caved in with some of the possession stuff and some of the chance stuff. But interesting enough, he also said like timely saves. In game 3, Pickard gives up some goals that aren't high danger. They're mid dangers. Now they're great shots with time and space. But again, open releases, straight lines get stopped at a higher rate than he was. But he doesn't give anything up on the high danger, right? We talked about it before. Game 1, Stewart only gives up high danger shots, but I've heard other people say you're allowed to save those 2. Well, that's what Pickard did better than anything in game 3. And then last night, I think it was 2 goals on 10 high danger chances. Didn't face a lot. The Kings had no high danger in overtime, a couple in the third period, makes the saves when he has to. For whatever reason, they just seem to play a better structured game overall in front of him. We saw it in the regular season. It was hard to say for sure why, because you're talking about different opponents and different circumstances. Now you've got the same opponent. Yes, the circumstances are a little bit different in terms of the team playing better overall, and maybe that's last change. We'll see when they get to LA, but he's giving them what they need, right? Like he's just making the saves when they need, and they're able to come back in third periods, and he's not making any mistakes in those third periods. So it's kind of true of what happened all regular season for him, and they're doing it again here in the playoffs. And I'm fascinated to see which way this goes for the remainder of these games, because if that discrepancy continues, to be honest with you, it leads to some questions beyond this playoffs and moving forward. Like, why is the gap as big as it has been in the regular season and now in the playoffs if it continues?
Now, the regular season, if you look at quality of competition, I think that'd be a big reason. Like, when you play the majority of your games against the bottom teams, that might be part of it. Now, obviously, if it's in the playoffs, then it might be different. So, we'll have to see if they wake up or not. Now, what about all the injuries? You got Montembeault in Montreal. You got Freddie Anderson in Carolina. Are we going to see more of Schmid in Vegas? What do you make? Like, there's a lot of goalies. You mentioned there's only 7 that are above expected. But, man, the list of teams who haven't used 2 goalies is much shorter than the one that have used 2 goalies.
Yeah, no, Kochetkov goes in for Anderson after. I mean, I hated that. I hated that play. Again, this one, I will pull out the goalie union bias card on this one. And it's because it's as soon as they went to, I called this as soon as they went to reviews on goalie interference, because I knew what it was going to do. When was the last time you saw a goalie interference penalty? It happens, but it's way rarer than it used to be. It almost never gets called anymore because the answer is always, well, if the puck had gone in, we would have reviewed it and it wouldn't have counted. But you know what it leads to? Guys going to the crease with reckless abandon. I did not love the contact on Freddie Anderson, how hard Meyer went in there. I understand you're taught to drive to the net, doesn't make it right. And I think the way they're calling the game allows players to get away with shots like that. So Anderson's out, Kochetkov comes in, and frankly, he gives up a stinker early. But to his credit, he sort of settles down and gets them through that win. In the long run, as long as Anderson's injury isn't serious, this might be a blessing in disguise, because Freddie had some of the best numbers in the playoffs, and we saw what happened last year with Carolina. They kept rolling him out there, and eventually the wheels started to come off because of fatigue. He does not play every second night in the regular season. To expect him to do so in the playoffs doesn't make a ton of sense. They were the team I had tagged for going to a backup on purpose. Now, again, hopefully this isn't a serious injury, because Freddie's played so well, he deserves a chance to keep going. But whether it was them getting through New Jersey early, and they've still got a win yet to get, or this situation, they needed to not ride Freddie Anderson into the ground. And maybe this becomes a break that allows us to have this conversation in the second round instead of last year, where you could see that drop off in play in the first. So we'll see on that one. Logan Thompson coming back for the Washington Capitals. Interesting enough, we saw, I think Elliot Friedman referenced it on the broadcast. I know he did. We had called it out at Ingle Magazine as soon as we saw it in the preview, wearing a dangler, the piece of plastic that hangs from your mask after not wearing it before the collision with Strome, and a real high stinger off the neck early in Game 3 in Montreal that he took. I don't know which of the two, because when Strome ran into him, we all looked at the knee and thought that looked terrible, but his stick basically goes right under his chin and catches him in the neck area. So for a lot of goalies, that's a tough decision to go to a dangler. It's rattling around underneath you. It affects your comfort level. It affects your vision. Logan Thompson actually used to wear one in Vegas, took it off at the Winter Classic in Seattle last year. I remember noticing and asking him why, and it was just to sort of change up the vibes of what had been a really bad season. So the good news for him is he's comfortable in it. That's good news for the Capitals, because he too, we're talking about one of the best goalies in the playoffs so far, Logan Thompson, along with Freddie Anderson. Those two really important. Montembeault, that's a tough loss for the Habs too, because Jakob Dobas, I actually thought he was okay up until the winning goal, sort of high glove, didn't seem to track it very well. He's a goalie who has the ability to steal a series. Like, he's big, he's got all the physical tools. You saw the save on the puck off the end boards with the glove, the reaction time. I liked his game since he came in because it's in control. He's in the crease. There were a couple of moments within there where I saw the guy that I saw far too often in the regular season, and that is chasing plays all over the place. So you get him chasing outside of his crease, and he is very gettable. So far in the playoffs, he's stayed contained, but that is the tendency. Maybe if they get behind, maybe if he feels too anxious, watch for it as the Caps try and close this out at home. He starts chasing outside of the blue, and I don't mean north-south, I mean east-west. He gets outside of his post, and you can backdoor him and bank pucks off him. And there's just sort of a lack of control in his game that once he gets it settled in with that size and that athleticism, reminds me of Schmid a little bit, maybe a little more explosive laterally. There's a lot of potential in Jakob Dobas. Kudos to him for not coming in and playing over aggressively in the playoffs with the pressure. The longer he can do that for the Habs, the better chance they have of hanging in until Montembeault comes back.
Kevin Woodley from Ingo Magazine and NHL.com joins us. Kevin, coming back to the Oilers series, Darcy Kemper's numbers, obviously a lot different than his regular season numbers. We've talked about the environment. What about the environment he's in? Like, I know if we could break it down by period, something tells me the third period's a lot worse than it is in the other ones. But overall, like Edmonton, as I got it from Mike Kelly, like they're third in the NHL in offensive zone possession time at 21 minutes. Whereas LA's only had 14. It's just when LA gets a chance, I like to call them they're like the big hitter chances. What is Kemper's numbers being like? Are they are they matching like just the public numbers of save percentage and goals against, which are way worse than what he was in the regular season? Are they giving up that much more, or is he just not making as many saves?
No, he's not making as many saves. The environment's actually better. Like, this is the thing. We had the Vezina Trophy finalists this year. Vasilevsky, Hellebuck, and Darcy Kemper. And I said to somebody, oh, what do you know? 2 of the 3 Vezina Trophy finalists were in the most friendly defensive environments for starters in the NHL.
Yeah.
Now, what's going to be your assumption when I say that? Which of the 2 are the goalies that were in the friendliest environment?
Kemper and Hellebuck.
Right, but it's not. It's Vasilevsky and Hellebuck. Darcy Kemper, the Kings opened things up a little bit, whether it was on purpose or not. I know there were some system changes early. They gave up more in front of Kemper this year. He was full value this season for the Vezina Trophy nomination. As a matter of fact, in the regular season, he led the NHL in goals saved above expected at 22, which was 2.5 better than Connor Halley. So the environment for him was tougher this season, and an expected save percentage of .893, which is just slightly above the league average. In the playoffs so far, that expected is .903. So similar to what we've seen for Pickard. Like, it's been a goalie-friendly environment overall. The difference I see, and the Kings with those quick hitters, of course they're not going to have possession time, because where are most of those quick hitters you're talking about coming from? Turnovers and off the rush. Yes. Where LA is getting got, so to speak, by the Oilers when they're in zone is their ability to attack around and below the goal line. And I talked to you a little bit going into this series about that tendency to go paddle down and reach with a little bit. Yeah. I think he's reined it in as the series has gone on, because he's recognized that he's reaching with a blocker to his right while they're passing to his left, which is never good. Just the way they're attacking him in and off his posts is a really good job, I think, of the pre-scout. I'm assuming that's Dustin Schwartz, because it's usually the goalie coach's job. They're getting him stretched out and in some really uncomfortable positions by making him go back and forth off dead angles. At times, it looks like he's coming out of his system when he does that, and he's getting sprawled out, and he's getting splayed out, and he's getting extended, and we're seeing some awkward positions, like the one they challenged on the Evander Kane one, right? So I think it's what they're doing with it. And then they work it back up high on the power play, and Bouchard's teeing off on a one-timer. Yeah. They're just doing a really nice job. It's one thing to be in the zone. It's another thing to create dynamic east-west plays when you're in the zone. And the Oilers obviously have the skill to do that. But where they've had their most success creating high danger is down below the hash marks, east-west, out from the goal line, making Kemper go side to side, like I said, from dead angles and from with plays behind the net. It's sort of shown a couple of limitations in his movement on those, and it's got him, even when it's not directly to a scoring chance, it gets him behind on sequences. So if you move the puck around and behind and then start feeding it up to the top, if he's behind going side to side, late side to side eyes or late back to front eyes, he's not getting up to the top of the crease on those shots like you would like to see.
Kev, awesome breakdown as always, buddy. Have yourself a wonderful day, and we will chat with you next Monday.
Next Monday, we have to go to, you asked me to look it up, the Skinner Wolf rookie season. We'll save it for next. It's a tease. We'll do it for next Monday. I've got the numbers, and they're good. Okay. I like it. We'll get to that and more. Appreciate it, buddy. Have a good one. Thanks, Jason. Kevin Woodley from InGo Magazine and NHL.com. Let's take a quick break. Spec will join us next from LA. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. It's your one-stop shop. Everything. Gaming, sports, lottery, live dealer instance, all in one place. PlayAlberta.ca.
Get ready to revolutionize your job site with Edmonton Kubota's game-changing compact construction equipment. From mini excavators and skid steers to track loaders, carriers, and utility vehicles, they have a model to fit every need, all powered by legendary Kubota diesel engines. These machines are built for performance and reliability. Transform your work with Edmonton Kubota's top-of-the-line compact equipment. Visit them today and see why they're the name you can trust for power and precision.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now, for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal with your choice of a Big Mac or a 10-piece Chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. A Minecraft movie meal, available now at your local McDonald's. See it in theaters April 4th. Meal available for a limited time while supplies last at participating Canadian restaurants.
Ritchie Brothers Auctioneers presents a massive 5-day unreserved heavy equipment auction at their Nisku site, April 29th to May 3rd, 8 a.m. Live online bidding on offer core construction, heavy equipment, trucks, trailers, nearly every industry covered. Register to bid online. It's free. Priority bids, timed auction, and on-site viewing on now. Auction starts Tuesday. Demand for equipment is strong. Contact your local territory manager to consign. More at rbauction.com.
If you or someone you care for are injured in a motor vehicle accident, please listen up. I'm Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and let me proudly say that we won't be the place your insurer tells you to go. We won't be the place because we don't sign agreements with the insurance company. We don't work for them, we work for you. We do want to be the place that your friends, family, and other medically trained professionals send you. So if your insurance company says that you have to see their therapist, you should know that's not true. You have the right to choose where you go, and we hope you choose us. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Kevin Carius, Low Tide, Jason Gregor. They are all ready for the Cup run. Sports 1440 is your home for all things hockey, including our pre- and post-game show with Andrew Walker. Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in project, service, tank, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Continuing on a lovely Monday afternoon, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, sports1440.ca. Thanks for watching, listening, and as always, presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to the spec report now, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists. From easy things like running water all the way to making sure the freeway you're driving home on, they do it all underground. At LegacyHeating.ca as Mark Spector joins us from lovely Los Angeles. Spec, how you doing?
Oh, doing great, man. How are you doing?
Hey, man, I'm pretty good. Pretty good. So I spoke to Chris Knobloch today.
You did now.
Yeah.
What do you have to say?
You know what? He's pretty relaxed. Obviously, he's he feels the one thing, you know, he's loved how his team's come back, but he feels his team has been too tentative early in games, and that's going to be their focus. Is that they want to come out a little bit better. Obviously,
it's funny. Like it's been a pattern in this series. 3 of the 4 games, the Oilers have stormed back and tied games in the third period.
Yeah.
And as Leon said, like, that's our identity. We never quit. But he says, I'm going to paraphrase him, but you can't make a living that way.
No,
you can't do it every night.
No,
it's awesome when you do it sometimes, but it's. Oh, thank you, dear. You can't think you're going to be able to continue to pull this off. Something's got to change. Either A, the Oilers have to start better and try having a lead in this series, or B, the Kings are going to figure out how to hold on to a lead. And I think if you gave me a choice which one to pick was going to happen, I think the Kings are going to learn how to hang on to a lead. So the Oilers had better figured out how to get one themselves here. Is that fair?
Yeah, maybe. It was interesting listening to Woodley talk about where the Oilers are, because he was breaking down Kempe and he's saying, Kempe's environment's actually been pretty good. Kemper's environment, but Edmonton really kills them where they attack down low, right? And they don't really have an answer for it because every goalie, you know what he said? Hey, Dustin Schwartz probably does it at the goalie coach. That's usually who does it to find out the weakness in the other goalies. We're seeing that in St. Louis with Hellebuck and Kemper, and even the great goalies, even the best ones, have a weakness. And I think Edmonton wants to keep attacking. Like I saw last game, Spec, when that game was 1-1, there was the one time Leon Draisaitl, the league's leading scorer, is right in the middle of the slot and he decides to pass it off to John Klingberg coming in from a sharp angle. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
What is going on? Yeah, well, you and me had the same brain at that very minute. I was like, wait a second. Klingberg doesn't have any goals. You got 50 plus, and you're giving it to him? So, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, sometimes you wonder. Sometimes we see it all the time. They're unselfish, and I'm not saying it's a bad play. Klingberg had a good look, but given the choice, I'm taking Draisaitl from the slot every day with that shot. So it was funny. The Vezina guys came out today, Vasilevsky, Hellebuck, and Kemper, and then you look at their save percentages, and none of them are any good at all in the playoffs. So it's kind of a goofy announcement today. I had a little bit of a chuckle when I saw that. I don't think there's a guy that's got a 900, do they?
Oh, God, no. The best is Vasilevsky at 890. Now, he's been good in his last two games, just the first game. When you allow 6 goals on 17 shots, it skews all your numbers for a long time, right? It's just, especially in a small sample size. So, that's part of it. There's no question. But, hey, we had Woodley on. He says, hey, man, Hellebuck's got to make more saves. Darcy Kemper, it's got to make some more saves. The Oilers have done a good job because every goalie has some limitations, and it seems like Edmonton's figured out how to do it. And the other thing, Spec, is so they're attacking him down low. The other thing is Edmonton has, I don't even know how to call it dump and chase. It's kind of place and chase more than we see from them. Like, you're even seeing Connor McDavid dump it in because they want to really wear down the LA defenders. And Sean Brown said, even if you go back for the puck and you're not getting hit, you've got to exert so much energy when you're always going back. Sometimes it's easier as a defenseman. Oh, McDavid's coming down the boards. I'll just give him space, but it's not really tiring for me. All of a sudden they dump it at the blue line. Now I got to race my rear end back because McDavid's coming in on me or Hyman or whoever. And we're seeing that with the Oilers because the Kings in overtime and even in the third period, like, it's as much as LA can't hold a lead, although we'll get to the giveaway. But a lot of it to me seems like, LA can't hold a lead, but maybe LA's tired because they're only playing 4 defense and 9 forwards.
Well, that's probably part of why they aren't as strong at the end of the game as they are at the start. I mean, I think that's just pretty simple math, right? You play 4 guys, you put them under playoff pressure. You have a really, a hard charging Oilers team coming at you. Yeah, of course, by the end of the game, you're tired. And then, God forbid, I think you can get through 60 minutes, Jay, but we saw what happened when they had to play an extra 19 or 18 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I've seen a lot of overtime periods where one team has all the momentum for 10 minutes and the other team has all the momentum for 10 minutes. I can't recall one where, the Oilers literally pounded on them for 18 minutes till it finally went in.
Yes.
It was, they had LA had a few one and dones, but they didn't have any zone time, any extended pressure, and Edmonton just kept coming and coming and coming. And I think it was a fine example of how the LA defense they just didn't have it anymore. That's enough hockey for them last night. They didn't have anything left.
Yeah, no, it's totally valid. I don't think we're going to see a ton of change. The Oilers lineup, Pickard's obviously going to start. What about LA though? Like, we saw their deployment, of Edmondson and Gavrikov and all 4 of their defensemen played over 32 minutes last night.
Right.
Brandt played 11. And Mowbray played like 2.5. He's averaging like 2.5 minutes a game. And like Jordan Spence played almost 17 minutes a night in the regular season. And like, obviously they're not liking something about him. I don't really notice him because he hasn't played lots. But like, do you think the Kings, are we going to see maybe a change to their lineup and say, okay, we got to play our 4th line here a little bit more?
Well, if not your 4th line a little bit more, and I think you should. Are you telling me Trevor Lewis can't play playoff games? Like, is he that old and slow? If he is, what's he doing on your team? Like, if a guy can't give me if my 4th line player can't give me 8 minutes, then maybe I should consider what I'm trying to accomplish here. Do they think they're going to win 3-4 rounds like this? Like, you're not winning 3 rounds with 9 and 4, right?
No.
You're not doing it. It's. I don't really understand it. And it's not just the Kings. I often say this I've thought it about the Oilers. Like, sometimes they only use 5 defensemen on a lot of nights. And I feel like, like Emberson didn't get many minutes last night. I don't mind his game. He could have played a few more minutes in that game. So listen, I don't know what the Kings are going to do, but I think we've hit a point in this series where it's starting to look like their deployment, right? Their 9 and their 4 thing is starting to become advantage Edmonton. They are wearing down, and the 3 most important games have yet to be played. So yes, if I'm running the Kings, I'm trying to find a way to, like now, what do? You come back to Jordan Spence and say, hey, we got huge confidence in you, son. We're going to play you 14 minutes. Well, you didn't have any confidence in me the last few games, pal. So they dug a little hole here. Now they got to find a way out.
Mark Spector joins us, and and that's probably fair. But hey, you've healthy scratched a guy, and then you go back to him, and he's like, "All right, I'm going to play it, coach," because he wants the opportunity. So
he wants to play.
Yeah.
He wants to play.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
And remember, we forget that all these guys are NHL players. Jay, they were the best guy on their junior team, their college team, wherever they came from. They played lots of 30-minute nights in their life. Like Jordan Spence, he's played tons at some level. Certainly he's a better player than whatever, 3 or 4 minutes. Come on here.
Yeah, I would tend to believe and think that's very plausible at this point. So see how it goes. Like, hey, the Oilers are loving it, and to continue on it. What Evan Bouchard, 4 goals here in the last 2 games. He in a minimum 50 games played amongst NHL defensemen, only Bobby Orr has a higher points per game in the playoffs.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
isn't that wild?
Yeah, well, hey, Bouchard, he can shoot, he can make plays. Draisaitl was raving just about his hockey. Connor McDavid talking about offensively. We know he's going to make a few mistakes defensively, but I think some people have to recognize, he'll make an errant pass here or there, and maybe you don't like how he turns on the Fiala goal, sure, but that to me, that's kind of nitpicking. All I know is at crunch time in games when they're down, Bouchard has 4 goals now, which is tied for the league in the entire league in the postseason.
Yeah. No, listen, first and foremost is his production. And the other thing I want to say is his gamesmanship. This is a guy who's -3 after 2 periods. Some guys go in a shell. Some guys, some guys get careful. Some guys, right? The fact that I know there was only 45 seconds left, but the fact that with an empty net and Byfield had all that space, the fact that Bouchard didn't back up, off the blue line, and he didn't back up, he challenged Byfield and made the play that saved the game, right?
Oh,
forget all the goals he scored. He doesn't make that play, you don't win the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's got a huge sense of gamesmanship. And listen, no one's criticized the defensive play more than me. I'm here to tell you. But, I guess it is overshadowed. The savant that he is offensively, the fact he's got the hardest shot in the league. Not one of the hardest shots, Jake, right? Not one of the hardest shots. Consistently the hardest. Most shots over 90 every year.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he's a savant offensively, and now we're going to have the next conversation is going to be, is he worth 10 or 11 million bucks? And that's going to be a long conversation. We better put a jug of beer down, like I like to say. But he is such a unique player, and it is true that if could you trade him for a goalie and a real solid defenseman? Sure, you could. But you know what else you're going to be looking for? You're going to be looking for someone to run your power play the minute you trade him.
Yeah, and which solid goaltender spec? Connor Hellebuck, Darcy Kemper. Hey, we got some solid goaltenders here. That position, man. You tell me with certainty who's the solid goaltender, right? There's a few of them.
Rob Tichkowski says last night, he says, everybody's been saying the Oilers need to go to Lake Hellebuck. Turns out they have one. So, yeah, man, you're dead right. One thing about Bouchard is you know what you got. And he's not going to get worse offensively. He's not going to. But he sure could get better defensively, right? So, I go back and forth. But in the end, when we talk about trades, let's talk about the trade. We talk about trade. The guy that trades the best player almost always loses the trade.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no world in which Evan Bouchard isn't a million times the best player in any trade you make with this guy.
Yeah, no, it'll be fascinating when he's come up huge here when the Oilers needed it as of late. Spec get some sleep.
What a fun game last night.
It's crazy game.
Yeah, what a fun rink that was.
Well, both games.
Crazy.
Both games. What about Friday? I've never been at a game. My son was in the crowd, and after I was talking, he's like, "Dad, we cheered for the same goal 3 times," and it's true. right?
Yeah.
It's so funny. So,
no, it's a fun rink. You know, I give, like, I'm in LA and I go to all the road games, and I'm not one of these guys. Oh, Edmonton's got the best fans in the world. Everybody says that. I hear that. But I'll tell you one thing: you don't see people dressed up in LA.
Yeah.
You don't see those guys that were dressed like bumblebees that were the B team. You know, you don't see the woman, the Stanley Cup lady dressed in silver. You don't see that guy, that bald guy that, like, you don't see that in other rinks. We do it in Edmonton. The fans there are, I'm telling you what, if they're the best fans, they're the best fans. I'll tell you what they are. They're the most dedicated fans to going and having a hell of a party every time there's a hockey game. I could say that with certainty. It's just a pleasure to work hockey in that rink.
Yeah. Spec, enjoy it. We will chat with you tomorrow.
All right, brother.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. We'll come back, wrap things up in the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired. Yeah, waking up tired.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Explore Internet just got 10 times faster. 5G Ultra brings incredible speeds to homes in rural and small town Canada. Upgrade today at xplore.ca.
Truck month is on at Chevrolet. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on a 2025 Silverado 1500 Custom Blackout or Custom Trail Boss. With Custom Trail Boss's available class-exclusive Duramax 3-liter diesel engine and Z71 off-road package with a 2-inch factory suspension lift, you get both on-road confidence and off-road capability. Dirt road ahead. Let's go! Truck month is awesome. Ask your Chevrolet dealer for details.
When you need to get away to find a hidden gem where beauty meets serenity, Silver Creek Golf and RV Resort offers a breathtaking experience. With an exquisite 27-hole course, a fabulous restaurant, peaceful camping sites, the list goes on. Whether you spend the day or even the weekend, there's no shortage of ways to have the time of your life. Call Silver Creek Golf and RV Resort to book your ticket today. 780-855-3982. Online at silvercreekgolfcourse.com.
It's the spring Big Red Sale at Canadian Tire. Save up to 50%.
What are you doing?
These are the biggest deals of the season. I'm shouting it from the rooftop.
You have a radio ad. You don't need to be up there.
The Spring Big Red Sale is on from April 24th to May 1st. Conditions apply. Details online.
You have to let that rock drop. The oil down the desert way. Have to shake it to the top. The shaking drove is kind.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Generate the faithful with that crazy cat.
548. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger going to wrap this one up as Jason had to take off to an event. We are going to get to we'll call it the NBA and NFL report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Of course, this weekend in the NFL draft came and gone. A lot of teams high hopes for what could be coming with this organization. We touched on it a little bit in 5 questions, Jason and myself. I want to get Declan in for this, of course, big NFL fan. But Declan, we talked about Shedeur Sanders. Kind of a surprise with the team also grabbing Gabriel out of Oregon, a guy who put up huge career numbers, and a lot of other quarterbacks sliding throughout this draft. Shedeur Sanders, probably the big name there. But of the players who, let's just say rounds 3 to 5, Riley Leonard, guys that competed in the national championship. Is there anyone you think could be more likely than the rest to kind of become a starter down the road and a good quarterback, maybe outside of Shedeur Sanders? Because I think that one's too easy.
Oh man, you took the words right out of my mouth.
He in the 5th round is ridiculous.
It's incredible value. And say what you will about Shedeur, I fully believe 90% of this was what he did in the interview processes, his meeting with team execs, things of that nature. 10% of it, I'll chalk it up to he maybe wasn't as good as I thought he was. But Connor, I've said this on Low Tide Show. You could take any 2-week period from the last 2 years, from September to December, and I'll have watched more CU Buffs football than anybody in this city. I know how good he is. I watched it with my own 2 eyes, week in, week out. So to answer your question, I'll go with my guy Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah,
and I'll tell the reason why is because of the situation. You look at who's ahead of him. Deshaun.
Who's out for the year, probably.
Right. Joe Flacco. Obviously, you have Shedeur in that room as well. Who's the 5th quarterback in that room?
Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, come on. What are we talking about here? Give me a break. So I would say Dylan listen, he's a little undersized for the position. I don't think he's going to be a star, but I think he can carve out a decent career with spot starts. I think he can be a decent little backup, and I'll pick him just because I think Quinn Ewers' draft stock fell so shockingly.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy to think that Quinn Ewers, all these guys, and that was part of it. I know people said, well, Shedeur, he's only falling for this reason. Well, you go back and you look at that draft. Quinn Ewers, 7th round pick. Will Howard, 6th round pick. Kyle McCord, 6th round pick. And they're not Shedeur Sanders. I know. Dylan Gabriel, 3rd round pick. But the point being, quarterback slid in this draft later on. And I would say I felt a little vindication because I wasn't as high on Shedeur as some people. 2nd round pick. You know what? I thought that would have been okay. I'm okay, he's fell to the 1st. I didn't have him as a 1st round talent myself. I didn't think this draft class as a whole at the quarterback position maybe was as good as others. But you know what? In the 5th round, an absolute steal there, I think, for the Cleveland Browns. And we'll see how it pays off. I said it with Carius this morning. I would have hoped that he would have ended up with the Rams or maybe the Raiders, where the starter is there, certified, stable coaching staff, like a Sean McVay with the Rams. Maybe after 1 or 2 years, Matthew Stafford retires, Shedeur could slide right in, living in Los Angeles. To me, that would have been a great fit. But I'm just an outsider from Edmonton. What do I really know? Declan, looking at the NBA tonight, right now the Cavaliers running away with this one against the Miami Heat. Is 26-8. I think that's going to be a sweep, and the Heat are probably done in this one. But later
tonight,
why'd
they even show up, man? What's the point?
No,
guys, please, can we have a little bit better than 8 points with 3.5 minutes to go in the first quarter? Is that too much to ask?
Larson leading the way with 2 points. But tonight, it is looking like Jimmy Butler is going to return for the Golden State Warriors as they look to take a 3-1 series lead over the Houston Rockets. That's going to get going at 8 o'clock. So if you're looking for something to watch later on in the evening, always a pleasure to watch Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry. The Lakers, though, that might be a little bit of a surprise with the Minnesota Timberwolves taking a 3-1 series lead.
The Timberwolves were always a pretty bad matchup for the Lakers because of the size issues. The Lakers, Jackson Hayes starts the game, but he plays 4 minutes. They can't play Alex Len. They're running lineups where Dorian Finney-Smith and Vando, Rui Hachimura, LeBron, those are their bigs. And that is just not conducive to a team with Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is not some 40-point offensive guru, but he's a guy with size who, clogs up the middle, takes up the boards. They got Julius Randle, who's a true 4. He can step out and stretch it a little bit, but he's a true 4. Naz Reid plays big. They just play too big for this Lakers team. I still thought the Lakers were going to do it, obviously, but they're going out sad. And they're going, and the worst part is, Connor, that Luka's showing up. LeBron showed up. So the big dogs are eating. The rest of the team just can't do anything about it. And like I said, matchup-wise, just not favorable.
Yeah, I mean, and Ant Edwards, we've known this about him, right? Like we've known that he doesn't really back down. He's got the swagger I think you want, especially against a LeBron James, a Luka Doncic, who, hey, let's face it. I mean, they're intimidating. Those are two of the best players in the world, but he's absolutely shown no fear. Tough news for the Bucks. Announced that looks like Dame Lillard's going to be missing a lot of time with the Achilles injury, probably the entirety of next season. The Bucks down 3-1 to the Pacers. Shout out Pascal Siakam. It's looking pretty good for Indiana, just from what you've seen in the playoffs. And matchups can change things, Declan. But do you think there's a team that right now you're looking at thinking, hey, watch out for these guys? They're playing their best ball right now.
I mean, I really want to say OKC, and that sounds like such an easy option, but it makes more sense when you understand that I did not have OKC coming out of the West.
Yeah.
But it only took 4 games for me to see what this OKC team really is. And they're just playing ball. Like their team ball is so incredible. They have the MVP of the league, who in the first game was on the bench for a 20-2 run, shot 2 for 10. They were up by 31 points and ended up winning by 50 plus. Like that's what the team is. And that's a very scary thing.
Yeah, they wrapped up their series over the weekend over the Grizz, winning 117-115, a sweep in the first round. The Cleveland Cavaliers looking to do the same. Before we let you go, hey, election today. Go out and vote. You've got like over 3 hours to go get that done. So if you're able to, make sure you go cast your vote. Tomorrow on the show, we'll get you ready for Game 5. Oilers Kings down in Los Angeles. Spec will be by, of course, Struddy, Dave McCarthy. We'll have TR, Ian co-hosting, and more throughout the entire day here on Sports 1440. Thank you to all of our guests for tuning in today. Let's get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Ewell. Get amped up with Ewell, your partner in power. Ewell.ca is a top-line online source for all things electrical, 24/7 ordering and shipping across Alberta. Ewell.ca, your partner in power since 1975. Have a great night, everyone. Here is Declan Kruger.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
And one last time from me tonight, your Sports 1440 update. NHL scores around the league. Lightning and Panthers currently tied at 0 at the end of the first. Abs and Stars in Game 5 of their first-round series set to go at 7:30. In the NBA, it is the Cavs leading the Heat 30-8 with just over 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. At 8, we're going to see the Rockets and Warriors. Warriors looking to go up 3-1 in that series at home, and Jimmy Butler is expected to play. 3 games in the MLB right now. Twins lead the Guardians 6-1 at the end of the 5th. Yankees trailed the Orioles 4-0 bottom of the 4th, and Cardinals and Reds dueling it out. Reds lead 2-1. That one at the end of the 5th. The one final from earlier today saw the New York Mets, winning 19-5 with 21 hits over the Washington Nationals. Stories from around the sporting world is the Pittsburgh Penguins and coach Mike Sullivan agreed to part ways Monday, with general manager Kyle Dubas saying it was time for a change. Sullivan, who replaced Mike Johnson on December 12, 2015, won the Stanley Cup in his first 2 seasons and made the postseason the first 7. He was the 6th coach in league history to win the Stanley Cup after getting hired mid-season. And in the NBA world, brutal news for the Bucks as guard Damian Lillard has suffered a torn Achilles, according to senior NBA insider Chris Haynes. Lillard sustained the injury in the opening quarter. The Bucks 129-103 loss to the Pacers in Game 4 of their first-round series. This will end his season and keep him out for a significant portion, if not all, of next season. Elks news is they have signed wide receiver Alex Hollins. Hollins joins the Green and Gold after spending the last 3 seasons with the BC Lions, appearing in 38 career games. On behalf of Jason Gregor and Connor Halley, I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR.